language and adult themes. So, did I hit something wrong, or is YouTube just that slow?
We got
We're
YouTube
live.
going. We're live.
Pardon me?
Okay, there. Yeah. No, it took several seconds for it to come up in my browser. So
Oh,
that's
that's
what I was wondering.
That's okay. Most things I think about it take a few minutes to come up with.
No, you seem to be pretty good at coming up with stories on the fly that leave people wondering whether you're bullshitting or telling something that actually happened.
Are you referring to my days with the Venezuelan secret police?
I was really hoping that you were a secret agent for Canada working on getting us annexed, but
Oh, yeah, that would be nice. No, we'll have to stick with Venezuela.
okay, well,
Oh, so
I did want to start with just a bit of community information that Diana's funeral is taking place today in New York. So I guess there was a delay because they had to wait and see whether any relatives were going to show up to claim the body.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. So Amiga Nuts will be going to the funeral. I don't know if anyone else is going to be there.
I'm glad she's at least getting one.
Yeah.
There is an obit page. I don't know what you call those. I'm not very good at this stuff.
Obituary.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, I did not see that. We should probably,
Let's see
if
if I
we
can
could
find
get
the
a link for that. Yeah. Just if people want to go and see.
There it is.
And it gives you the option of planting trees in her honor for a couple bucks a piece.
Oh, that's cool. I'll definitely have to check that out.
There you go. There's the link.
Thank you, Mage. In the side chat so far, I see Greg and Demon Org. So, yeah, I'm kind of waiting then for people to be catching up. So, anybody else have any news here? We'll give a few minutes to see more people show up before we get into topics.
I have a question that's been bothering me for a while. It's not serious bother, but just one of those things that you think about when you're just sitting there in a dump, nothing to do.
Okay.
Demon orb. What precisely is an orb of demon, or a demon's orb, or why?
I had always assumed it was kind of like a crystal ball that you used to summon demons. That was just my guess.
Isn't it sort of like that thing that the former president was tossing around with the Saudis on his first foreign trip back in the day?
Oh, that's right. And then they hugged
like
and kissed and
orb to
stuff.
me. I don't know.
Yeah, it's all those Saudi royals are gay.
Are they?
That's why Trump
know
likes them
that.
so much.
Didn't know that. Wow.
I'm pretty sure.
Cool.
I mean, I can't imagine getting something like that wrong.
Are they fond of their divans?
I would never ask anybody about their personal clothing.
No, that's probably lewd, crude, and rude. Probably wouldn't want to do that.
Is that maybe why they like the burqa, because they don't actually want to see if it's a man or a woman under there?
Well, I think it also pertains to the level of excitation and ability.
No, actually, it's the hijab that covers the face, and the burqa, at least the face,
Covers
is
the whole
exposed.
thing. I saw somebody on the streets of Portland in a burqa. couple of days ago.
You know, I kind of like the blue of those burkas. You know, with the mask and stuff over them, and they're kind of cool.
I mean, this one was the whole shooting match.
Yeah, I'm thinking of getting one.
Really?
Well, we have a lot of Somali immigrants around here. But there's one woman I've seen at the stores a couple of times, wearing the burqa, and it's like, damn, she's so curvy that even the burqa can't hide that. I just like that she seems to completely circumvent the whole thing. Okay, I guess that's only funny to me. Okay, now we got Tubin. Oh, and there's Demon Orb. Responding to Jenny's question, a demon orb of light. I made the name to wind up Flurfs and Conspiratarts. My avatar is an aircraft anti-collision light with a face. Okay, yeah, I figured that was some kind of red lantern. I didn't know exactly what it was from.
Huh.
So, are you saying that demons help prevent aircraft crashes?
Ooh.
Yeah, but only on the left side of the plane.
Yeah, on the other side, it gives permission.
So demons are leftist?
Hi, Angie.
Hi, Angie.
Is that light on the plane, or is that like one of those things on the ground at the runway?
Yeah, I think that's more a runway light.
I can't see. It's just a little red blotch at that size.
Yeah. Well, that's about all that shows, even when I try to make it larger on the screen, you can't see much more than it's just a red globe on a base.
Yeah, if I delete the chat when I'm in horizontal position, I can actually do the 2-finger zoom in.
Yeah, but it looks to me like it's standing on concrete, so I think it's just a runway light.
In fact, I can zoom in, and Mage has blue eyes.
Yeah, it took me a while to get the blue eyes with the AI.
Were both your parents blue-eyed, or did one have a recessive coming in?
My mom had green eyes. My dad had blue eyes.
Well, that's all right. I have blue eyes too, and my mom had green eyes, and my dad had brown. But my grandma and grandpa both had blue eyes, so one of them made a mess of me.
Well,
My eyes.
if anybody is wondering how I've been doing, I went to the hospital on Sunday after almost passing out, and I possibly had a mini stroke because the left side of my mouth kind of went numb for a few minutes. When I got there, they put me on oxygen because I was low. I was around 88. So even on the oxygen, the thing dipped. I was watching it dip down to 80 at one point. They put me on some drugs to knock the shit out of it that's in me. So I've got some doxycycline and what's the other one? Amoxicillin. So that's kind of an interesting cocktail, considering it's usually not recommended to use those together. And that's they got me on an inhaler and some over-the-counter Mucinex to kind of clear out the crud out of my lungs. The real fun one is the cough syrup they gave me. It's a prescription cough syrup, hydrocodone.
Oh yeah, I like that stuff.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
It's one of the few things that can actually put me to sleep.
Yeah, that one knocks me out. I haven't needed to use. I'm using it sparingly because it is an opioid.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't needed to use it today, fortunately.
You could send whatever you don't use up my way if you'd like.
Yeah.
It,
Well, when I got that stuff about 10 years ago, I think there was a problem with the pharmacist not being able to read the doctor's prescription. Because while it was supposed to say two teaspoons, The instructions on the bottle said 2 tablespoons.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, jeez.
So yeah, I basically slept for 3 days, and when I called in for a refill, the doctor wondered why I used it up so fast.
And this is why we believe in the metric system.
Yeah, the amount I'm supposed to take is 5 milliliters. Unfortunately, trying to find something that would measure that was a little bit difficult because they said not to use a tablespoon or teaspoon. But what I found was an unused syringe from when my bird was sick. It measures in milliliters.
Yep.
You could just draw in some water to that there syringe and pour it into a teaspoon and see how much it says in the teaspoon, and then just simplify your life with that.
Yeah, I'm
this works.
surprised they didn't give you, a bottle with one of those little measuring caps on it.
Yeah, I'm surprised too. I was, especially considering I have to measure this stuff out.
I've actually saved those from when I've been on my deathbed. They're handy to have.
I've kept a couple of them just because they're useful for small things.
The hospital was nice. It's actually a fairly new hospital around here. Staff was friendly. The food was surprisingly good.
Yep.
But unfortunately, I for various reasons I didn't really have much of an appetite, so they were kind of getting on my ass about that.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been associated with hospitals that have really good damn food. I can't complain at all about it.
Oh, the hospital here has real good food from, when Slothgirl was in there.
Yeah, apparently the doxycycline reduces your appetite too. So that's on top of everything else that was killing my appetite.
I didn't know about that one.
It's one of the side effects. It also
Okay.
causes dizziness. So my friend also got me a cane when I got out of the hospital. So if I get dizzy or if I'm still kind of wobbly, I can got something there.
So we've got Commander 401 joining us, and Pragmatic Crystal has already gotten out there with all of our channel links. Crystal, in addition to Stephanie's, can you throw a link out there for the transposition?
And right now I'm trying to finish up my coffee before 4 o'clock here.
Do you realize that if we had both Commander and Neil, the 604 atheist here, we'd have 1,005 worth of guests?
Mage, why do you have to finish the coffee by 4 o'clock?
It has stuff in it that I can't have along with the doxycycline.
Oh, okay. So you got spaced it out with the medication.
Yeah, I got the creamer. I got creamer in it.
Yep.
And they can't do dairy with the thing, so I have to 2 hours before. So apparently, some of the stuff makes it not work as well. So I gotta be careful about that.
Yep.
Good afternoon, Ivy. Haven't seen you for a while. Yep. Good afternoon, Pragmatic.
Yep. And Antur was.
And Angie. I missed Angie. Hi, Angie. Yep. And Antur. And oh no, that's not a guess. That's just a cockroach. Sorry.
Hey, if the cockroach counts as a viewer, I'll take it. It might finally get my channel over 1,000 if cockroaches start watching this. They tend to have large families. Then again, the main reason why I don't use my real name on here is I don't think I want my family to know what I'm doing on YouTube.
Well, they could chance across you,
Well, that actually was the main reason I wanted to erase my old Facebook account. Is I had made the mistake of having a link for it there. Oh, and Ember. Yep, Ember just came in too. Mixing meds for fun and profit. Mostly for fun, yeah.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Ember. I'm sorry, I was munching a little piece of lunch. I'm having one of my favorite poverty dishes. Cut up pieces of Oscar Mayer bologna and saltine crackers.
Mm.
Yeah, you can buy one of these suckers and have about 3-4 meals off them. They're about $3.
Yeah, I might have to try that. I'm looking for meals that are not going to be too hard on my stomach because both these meds they have can cause upset stomach.
I try to keep bologna around the house all the time. It's so useful for so many things. I like it chopped up into scrambled eggs or on an egg sandwich. I like it for my horty-doors here, and it's also kind of nice when you slap it on your belly when you're naked and stuff, and then the ring kind, you can without leaving bruises. Never mind.
Actually, fried bologna is not bad.
Oh, you animal.
No, you just fry a slice of bologna in the pan, and then, put it on the bread for a sandwich, and then you just toast the sandwich in the same pan.
How do you cope with
a slice of cheese?
How do you cope with when you throw it in the pan? You got this nice hot pan going, and you take a slice and you throw it in there, and the first thing it does is hump up in the middle and have an air pocket underneath that doesn't get fried. How do you deal with that?
Well, yeah, you have to just press it down with the spatula.
Manual labor, damn it. Ivy, none of us know what that is. It's just this thing Purple happened to buy, I guess.
Okay, today is Boxing Day. Actually, Cartonnage Day, so not to be confused with the British Boxing Day, but today is a day about making boxes.
Yeah, that kind of sounded like a copyright infringement or a trademark infringement to me.
Yeah, well,
are they little boxes on the hillside?
No, and unfortunately for shipping out Lego sets, I've often had to make custom boxes for mailing them.
Little box on the prairie?
Yeah. Just the larger Lego sets are just an awkward size that they're a little too big for any of the standard size boxes.
Twilight box? The Dick Van Box Show?
Okay, there you go. Take any title and replace one word with box.
Oh, Crystal's giving me the finger.
Oh my.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not the finger. It's a finger. I'm sorry.
Okay, Antir says for the bologna, if you cut slits around it, then it'll lay flatter.
Oh. Maeve gave me a cooking tip
sense.
when I was researching doing eggs in a microwave, which actually has become one of my favorite things. To do a fried egg, one of the problems they have is that they kind of explode, even without the shell. And he said, put some salt on the bottom of the dish before you put the egg in. It fucking works.
Yeah,
it really fucking works.
A little tablespoon of salt.
Oh no, not even close to that much.
No, it wasn't even that much. Yeah.
God.
Ivy Chan says I always use boxes.
Well, you're not eating the salt.
That much sodium.
No, you're not eating the salt.
No, it would get into the albumin.
Yeah, the egg's gonna absorb the salt.
I I do a little grease of the bowl because I found that helps not stick, and but just a little grease, not much, and then I sprinkle the salt on the grease when in preparation, and it sticks in position.
Ivy Chan says, I've always used boxes which are fold inside out. That is a good tip, and yeah, I have used that a lot too. Actually, I've kind of come to think of the building trash room as a resource room that I keep going in there and I keep pulling stuff out of the recycling bins for my projects.
When I was shipping books manuals around, I would use those horrible grocery store plastic bags. You can kind of tie them up in a loose knot and pack really well with them.
Yep. Yeah, they are good for padding. Okay, Ember, first of all, Lego never has an S on it. Lego is both singular and plural.
Mies.
But mostly I was talking about I have problems with the big Lego boxes are like something like 22 inches long. So that's why I can never find boxes that will fit in.
See, Ember, you're talking about Comic-Con. That's actually not a bad idea. You're thinking of going as like a Lego guy.
I've seen it done. I've seen people who, basically like carved out the head out of foam and hollowed it out.
And I said Lego guy because there's so many different characters that they've made over the years.
Yep.
So.
Lego minifigs.
I would think that might be more fun is that instead of coming as one of the little Lego guys, that you come as like a brick or like one of those flat patterns or an axle or those different kind of things, or you could come as an assembly.
Yep. Tried to do a Lego Transformer.
Yes, Lego blocks hurt when you step on them. Just that really hurt, like the ones that Batman, like his little helmet.
Yeah, actually, around 2015, the Lego company responded to that they started making slippers in adult sizes just to protect the parents.
Well, when they started producing them, they knew it was going to be a problem.
Yep.
And they had a talk about it in one of their board meetings and decided that we should maybe change the name to Ouch. But then somebody else said, well, in America, you'd have to change it to like goddamn motherfucking.
No, the plural of multiple sets is still Lego. It doesn't matter how many of them are. Although you can say Lego elements.
Oh, that's interesting, Ember.
Okay, Mage, can you enlarge that piece a bit? Yeah, okay, so
really
yeah.
Looks...
I don't recognize that piece. I'm not sure what it's from, but yeah. So apparently Lego is now officially making caltrops.
Well, it looks kind of like a sea. Have you ever stepped on a sea urchin? Those things hurt.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
They sting.
And well, that may very well be what it's meant to be, because they have done a bunch of sets recently with ocean animals. I would love to get the set with the orca, but it's rather expensive. I haven't been able to justify it on my budget. I kind of fell behind on my money, so I'm trying to catch up again.
Stephanie, I was thinking of you the other day, and when I saw this advertisement on TV for a particular TV show, and I watched the particular TV show last night, and I learned all about the Gulf of Maine.
What can I tell you about the Gulf of Maine? You need some information about that?
Well, no, I feel pretty well educated now. It was PBS, and they told me all about the kelp farms. I didn't know they had kelp in the North
yeah.
Atlantic. I thought that was just a Southern California kind of thing.
Yeah, we got
And then
plenty
I
of
also
kelp.
learned about how you guys are overrun with green crabs, and you can like basically put some sort of scoop in there and come up with hundreds, and how they're trying to introduce a blue crab because they get larger and can get rid of the population of green crabs. And I don't know why, because wouldn't they breed just as badly as the green ones? And then they talked about alewives, which were particularly interesting to me because I grew up in Milwaukee, and in the 60s and into the 70s a bit, we had this really, really bad problem with alewives. They got into the St. Lawrence Seaway, and they found Lake Michigan to be very habitable, and made themselves over and over by the billions. And they would always all die at the same time and end up on the beach, a couple feet thick. It was really awful. It completely made the whole lakefront unusable.
Oh, is
And
that what those little fish were?
yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
then
had seen that on some of the shores of Lake Michigan.
the DNR figured out a way that they could deal with it, and they introduced to Lake Michigan and the other Great Lakes salmon, king salmon, Chinook salmon, and several different varieties of salmon. And now they have this just absolutely splendid sport fishing salmon industry, where you can go in and you can pull out these 25, 30-pound salmons and take 5 a day, which is a huge amount of salmon meat at $8 a pound. It's quite the
That's
deal.
a lot of salmon.
And they really fight good. Boy, you get one of those things on a light line, and they'll give you an exciting thing.
Okay, I'm curious wondering how big the green crabs are. I was too,
Green
if you're
crabs
saying
are
like
pretty
100
tiny.
in a scoop.
Green crabs they're not that tiny, but they're a lot smaller than blue crabs, and they're a lot more
Invasive?
right word. Not not fertile is not the word. They reproduce quickly,
Ah,
and they outcompete a lot of things. They and the big issue with green crabs is they really like to eat clams. They like to eat mollusks
oh,
a lot.
Yes,
So the clam diggers don't care for the green crabs at all.
but
But the green crabs were a huge deal up here like 10 years ago, but it seems like they're a little bit more under control. I think they're an invasive species. They're invasive in the sense that I think they came came up here because the water's been getting warmer, uh, and so they've found the found the found the habitat more welcoming. But they
and
seem to have it doesn't seem like I've been hearing as much grousing from the clam diggers as much as I was like
then
10, 15 years ago.
another thing that they do is they harvest mussels, but mussels
Hmm.
have been starting to have lots of problems multiplying and living and stuff. Their shells are made of calcium carbonate, and when things get more acidy in the water, it kind of like makes the shells go away, which is a really bad thing for a mussel. They got a mussel, but they got no shirt. So what they found is that if they grow these things around kelp, the water in that area is less acidic, and the mussels just thrive in that area. It's like such a clever thing.
well,
And and
that's.
and, and oh,
Go ahead, Jenny. I,
no, go ahead.
I
I'm
thought you
not,
were finished.
no, I'm just having fun. Go ahead.
Yeah. The zebra mussels, they had been getting to be a big problem in the Great Lakes, and there was a big issue about that for a number of years, and now they don't talk about much because it's one of the things they found out that apparently the Great Lakes don't have a high enough mineral content. So the zebra mussels are getting much thinner and more brittle shells that make predators that are already in the Great Lakes able to bust them open.
Well, actually, it has been in large part to the introduction of another invasive species, the quagga mussel. and it's just more hardy and versatile than the zebra mussel, and it's just been absolutely taking over their space. So now they're having problems with quagga mussels. But boy, the water sure got clear. So anyways, there's this other really cool thing up there. What I don't know that I would ever eat one, but everybody up there likes glass eels, and they're called glass
Oh, yeah.
eels because when they're tiny, it's like they're transparent. They're really cute. They're about like smaller than your finger, and you can pick up handfuls of them and stuff. And they get like $2,000 a pound for these fuckers. yeah, the indigenous folks.
Yep.
And
They're
and
elvers, and they're big. They're you know, I hate to use the phrase, but they're big in Japan. That was the huge market for them was Japan, and that fishery got, as soon as people realized, hey, we can sell these things for outrageous amounts of money. People went. There were elver weirs all over uh, every single river on the coast. Just it was stupid in the springtime because that's when the things run, and they finally put limits on the catch, and you know it's like everything else. Stuff gets overfished because hey, we can take these things. We don't need a license. So take them. The old tragedy of the commons, you know.
There's such a demand for glass eels, and I imagine a lot of that demand is how much they're worth, that people started building aquaculture plants for glass eels, and they showed one that's owned by two women, and it's just doing fabulously. And just, I mean, they got these things. Apparently, they're fairly smart as fish go, and they keep them in these big tanks, you know, that are like they look maybe they're 20, 25 feet in diameter, and they're just thick with them. But they like that because they just lay down together on top of each other, and it's one of their favorite things. They get really chummy. I imagine they have really good relationships. But anyways, to feed them, they have this little device that they invented, something that's floating in the tank. They didn't really show the details of the mechanics. And the glass eels have learned that if they gather themselves up on this platter-like thing, that they trip a switch, which pours some food, and then they get to eat. Those women, I swear, they're just so smart.
Damn. I don't know what's going on, but it won't let me share a screen today.
Well, the American eel is an anadromous fish, born in salt, and most of their lives in fresh water. Hence the weirs at the mouths of estuaries all over the coast. It's pretty neat. It's pretty fun to watch.
And Maine lobsters. Oh, I learned so much about a lobster trap.
I had so much lobster.
Did you know that 94% of lobsters that come into a lobster trap get out?
Yeah.
And they're not allowed to take small lobsters, so they build a hole in there so that just the little ones can get through. And it looks so cool because
you can take
going
big
out
lobsters. They have to. There's a minimum size, and you're not supposed to take female ones, except that they do all the time. And the lobster roe is called coral. If you ever have a lobster and you crack it open, you see some coral colored stuff. That's lobster roe. The green stuff is called tamale, and it's lobster liver. And given the fact that lobsters are bottom dwellers and they mostly eat the shit that falls to the bottom, maybe you might not want to eat it. It depends on your tolerance. It's actually quite tasty, but Yeah, we have a regatta that we did a couple ago. I raced in that one, and we always have a big lobster bag. Came back with like 4 lobsters.
Hey, we found 1,000 bodies down in the bottom of this ocean. And want some lobster roe?
I,
What?
I
Mm.
I was thinking that Lobster Row was a fish market in Maine.
I'm going over my notes from that show in case I missed anything.
Well, you're looking at least a piece of Casco Bay right there.
Oh, another thing about kelp. There's just so much fascinating things about this ocean stuff. But don't go too deep. um, um, Kelp is, in its harvesting for food. They seem to pack it in just jars, and I imagine there's some kind of salt as the packing thing and whatever. And I I'm I mean I know lots of people eat it, and I don't know if I would have the stomach to eat that stuff, but maybe I already have and don't know it. Kelp powder or something like that. Like crickets. Anyways, they found if they feed kelp to cows. Oh, which they have cows in Maine. I, I, I didn't know that. Anyways, you feed
There
you
you go,
feed the cows,
cows.
and it reduces the amount of methane in their coming out of their butts. Okay, it's just less methane, and I guess they belch a little less too.
Cuts down on the cow farts, dear.
So
You
I'm
don't have
thinking,
them. You don't.
we got to find a way to start growing kelp in Wisconsin, because we have lots of cows, like a million or 1.5 million cows or something in
Yeah.
that state.
You could grow them in vats.
Oh,
I don't know if cows would grow well in vats. But yeah, I had read an article about that, about them mixing like 10% kelp into the cow's grain, that it was cutting down on the methane. And basically, that came to the problem of why it wasn't commercially viable in the Midwest was just the shipping cost.
well, doesn't kelp like grow a foot a day or something like that? Just some astronomical speed.
Oh yeah, it grows real fast. It's just what would be the cost of you know harvesting and drying and shipping it.
I would think that you could send it wet. Like, why would a cow care?
The cows wouldn't care, but if it's wet, it would be many times its dry weight, and that would dramatically induce the shipping costs, because shipping costs are generally by the ton. So if it's dry, it would be a lot cheaper to ship across the country,
So,
since you'd have
so
to be trucking it like 1,000 miles.
so that begs the question that if I stop drinking water, would I lose weight?
Initially, yes. Well, initially you would lose weight, and if you did it long enough, you would lose a lot of weight,
Oh,
because then you
cool.
would be dead.
Oh,
This
okay.
guy Jackie Smith.
Yeah,
Kudzu.
generally after dying, you
Kudzu.
lose a lot of weight.
He's
Amber, that's great. Kudzu of the ocean.
This guy Jackie Smith is reviewing a Donald J. Trump speech, where a town hall, so called, somebody asks him a question, and he never gets around to answering the question. I mean, it's questions about economics, and he goes all around Robin Hood's bond trying to answer the question. This
Oh,
Yeah.
guy remarks, "Listening to this is like listening to elephant farts being forced through a tuba."
Did you hear
Yeah,
Trump's
all
excuse for
right.
that? Did you hear Trump's excuse for that? That in one of his speeches, he said he's an expert in weaving, that he talks about 9 different things, and in the end, they all come together. And that some English professor said it was the most brilliant thing he had ever seen.
uh-huh. Yeah, right. Tell us all
I would
about
say
it,
it's more
Donnie.
like spinning than weaving myself. But
Yeah.
I think it's more like free association is what I think. Crazy people do that, They're really good at it.
Yep. Methane actually would be good for a fuel if there was a way that they could capture all of it.
Ivy, no, that is incorrect. They do not have rockets that fly on fart gas. It's all gas that is created by Elon himself. It's actually a form of gaseous musk, is what they call it.
You solve the energy crisis.
Yes, though they're working on reducing the use of gas to power everything on Elon Musk's tweets.
Okay, Ember is asking for a low mass substitute for water.
Alcohol weighs very much less than water.
Well, there you go. Yeah. I was thinking that,
Problem solved.
I was thinking if you just take a packet of Kool-Aid and the sugar, isn't that basically dehydrated water then?
Mm.
Well, you can breathe dehydrogenated water.
Yeah, don't breathe it in the liquid forms. I have to, keep reminding myself of that. To only breathe gases that you have to swallow liquids and solids.
With the advent of success in DNA engineering and stuff like that, and this little what is it that thing called, the sieve or something like that? Oh no, CRISPR. That's it. Keeps the lettuce nice and crisp. How a refrigerator splices DNA, I do not know, but they say it's great. Anyways, I'm wondering about when they're going to finally improve human beings by giving us gills. Maybe the scuba diving industry is maybe the scuba diving industry is keeping them from doing that.
Kevin Costner has gills.
Does he?
Yeah, from Waterworld.
Oh,
the deep.
I thought the Irish had already worked it out. I met some Irish guy called McGillicuddy.
I mean,
no,
Dr.
too far.
McGillicuddy, now we're talking alcohol again.
Okay, well that brings to my romp through psychotic fields for the day. The rest of you, it's your show.
Yeah. Ivy, I know what you mean about harassing someone who doesn't notice you. I have been trying for years to get Ken Ham to call me out, just because the one objective I had for my channel that I haven't reached yet is probably like 5-6 years ago. Apologia said that anyone that Ken Ham calls out by name gets on his show. So that's the one goal I haven't reached yet, was to get a guest spot on Apologia's show.
Ah.
One of my favorite things about the internet is that when you get these so-called authorities that have sticks 3 feet wide and all the way up to their throats, how they must feel having to address somebody in an argument of, well, in your case, Purple Rhymes with Orange. We have a guest today, and their name is Purple Rhymes with Orange. It's my, how classy they've become.
Yeah, I guess I have to do a couple of videos seriously debunking the ARC story to get Ken Ham's attention.
I've been actively involved in trying to get myself blocked on Twitter by Greg Locked, and I just can't seem to do it. I read him some of the nastiest emails I can think of without using actual foul language, and it just doesn't work. He does not block me. I guess I think he's in love.
start sending him pictures of tarot cards. That'll do it.
Oh, that's a good idea. Oh, plus, I tell him Satan loves him at the end of every one.
Yeah, Ember, I'm not sure if he's still doing it, but actually Paul Gia did my very first avatar. Because at the time he had a thing going that anyone who subscribed to his channel for more than $5, that he would do an avatar for them. So I had sent him a picture of me and a picture of Fafnir, the Triceratops at the Science Museum, and just asked him to meld them together.
I'd like to have an avatar of me that's kind of a cross between Miku and Shrek.
You have to remind me who Miku is.
Oh, Miku is just the sexiest anime girl there is.
You need to narrow it down.
All right, I'll go find a picture and give it to you.
Yeah. You better give it to Mage. Like I say, for some reason, when I tried to share a picture, it's not letting me do it today. It's saying I can't share a picture from my browser, which has never been a problem before, but okay, well, there you go. Mage has already done it in AI for you.
I didn't make it. I just found it.
Uh-huh.
I did not expect to find in so much of Shrek and Miku together.
Really? I'm not finding that.
Try DeviantArt. I'm sure you'll find it there.
SHRECK Miku Shrek. Holy fuck, son of a gun, there it is. Well, Shrek has very good taste. I think that's really bizarre how an anime character like that has just become the bee's knees in Japan and with anime fans all over the world, I'm sure. I've seen dolls that are sold that like are in such a position that you can put on your desk next to you, and just all this weird stuff. It's very interesting. It's a
Not official
character.
art. This is an official art, but here you go.
Oh, well, she's kind of cute there, but it doesn't really show all of her great features, does it? I mean, here, let me give you one that I found. Yes, found. I don't keep this. I want that clear. I'm going to put it in the MidAmerica.
Okay. Yeah, Mage, can you pull that for us?
Sure.
It's even nice horizontal format for you.
Yeah, my computer is acting quite flaky. Before we went live, I don't know, it kind of flashed and did several things and brought up some kind of thing from Windows that I didn't understand and kicked me out of the chat. So, you know, if I happen to disappear, I may wind up having to reboot my computer.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, anime really likes hair. And I always kept thinking, well, if they like hair so much, why don't they just have everybody with hairy legs and stuff? Isn't that the same thing? Hair is hair.
Hey, my first crush on a girl was in my 4th grade art class. Was this Asian girl that had the black hair so long that she sat on it. You know, and it's just, I just love, long hair. For me, brushing out a woman's hair can be like foreplay.
I'm coming over.
was an interesting thing, with my late fiance that was really an education in the difference between, white people's hair and black people's hair. Because with hers, I couldn't brush it out, but I learned how to, do the waxing and twisting it for her dreads. There was a cashier a couple of weeks ago. I saw that, yeah, she had dreadlocks that went almost down to her waist. I just wonder how many years that took to get that.
For those of you out in the chat that may not know, our friend here, Mage, is an anime fan. In fact, introduced Perp and I to an anime cartoon series.
Yep.
Well, I guess it's just a series because whatever.
Anime series.
And what was the title of it again? Mage?
Zombieland Saga.
That's
and
right.
We're still on. We're still on for tomorrow, by the way. I'm so good to do that.
Okay.
Well, I figured you would give us an update tomorrow how you're feeling. So.
Well, apparently there are anime girls that have turned into zombies, and they got their own their own gig out of it, and it's kind of like interesting. And I have no idea where it's headed. Mage won't give spoilers, so I'm real curious.
They turned into zombies, and there's this guy who's trying to make them into a pop band.
Oh yeah, they have all that makeup they wear, so they're not green.
Yeah, they
which is probably why they like Shrek so much.
That makes sense. Ivy said that they sent me something on Discord, but as I said, it has not been letting me share a screen.
Tentacle zombies would be another thing. Mage, what would that be?
Resident Evil?
No, the tentacle type thing stuff that is popular.
Oh, the hentai?
That's it.
Tentacle hentai, a genre of porn.
It's the weirdest kink I've ever seen.
It's also so if you ever see something with tentacles in it, just say, yeah, I've seen enough hentai, I know this is going.
Yeah.
Jenny,
cephalopods are your friend.
Yeah, I actually ran across a lot of the tentacle things that were for gay men.
Well, you think the cartoon version is bad? I saw somebody who took a live octopus and put it up there.
Oh, geez, did you really have to mention that one? No, it's in my brain.
I just feel bad for the octopus. I just feel really bad for the octopus now.
Apparently, zombies like to chew on squid. That was in the show as well.
Well, I think that's just a Japanese thing, because they were showing it that people in the audience were snacking on it too.
Oh, I missed that.
Well, that was why the one girl dived off the stage, because she saw some guy in the audience snacking on it, so she went to get it.
Did they catch her, or did they let her splatter on the floor?
I think it was more like she fell on top of a couple of people in the audience. I don't think they were really trying to catch her, but
isn't that when her head came off?
Yeah.
Okay.
In those two metalhead guys, in the original stuff, they didn't have names. They were just called Metalhead A and Metalhead B. But in the dubs, they actually gave them names of Skull and Bull, and it's supposed to be a play on Bulk and Skull from Power Rangers.
I never watched Power Rangers either.
They're way too young for me.
Yeah, I just felt that Power Rangers seemed to be, it was just kind of juvenile. It seemed to be, aimed at such a younger audience that I just never caught me.
I
You know,
saw, I mentioned several weeks ago that one of the local stations that has those sideband channels, 19.1, 19.2, 19.3, blah, blah, blah. They started an all cartoon network. Well, they didn't start it, but they are now broadcasting somebody else's, I think it's this week's, all cartoons all the time.
Okay.
And this is the shit we grew up with. It was a Popeye cartoon, okay? And Brutus, who seems to have a thing for capturing Olive, and what goes with that is he seems to like to torture her. And he was threatening her with fire, open flame, branding iron, and all while she is tied with her hands behind her back, kind of thing. Or maybe it was the side, I don't remember. And we grew up on that shit. I can't. And it's like, what? I don't remember that particular cartoon, but holy fuck, we really saw some warped shit.
I don't remember that one
Oh, yeah.
either. I know I never really liked the Popeye cartoons though.
So, and anyway, here this is Bulk and Skull from Power Rangers,
Oh, okay.
and
Which is which?
these are the two metalheads from Zombieland Saga.
Right. Yeah, I can definitely see the resemblance there.
Oh, they are related, aren't they? Except the guy in the actual photograph needs some lightning bolts.
Yeah, the like I said, the anime didn't in the raw form doesn't name them. They just call them Metalhead A and Metalhead B. These guys, but once they got dubbed in, I think the Funimation dub, they were given names in Skull, Bull, and Bull to reflect the Bulk and Skull from Power Rangers.
Yeah, I think that whoever wrote that show was just lazy. Because they didn't give the girls names either, just numbers.
Oh, the girls have names. They're just using numbers as a code to cover up their identities.
Yeah, that's the whole trick to it. They don't want anybody to know they're zombies.
But yeah, the policeman also doesn't have a name. He's just Policeman A.
Yeah.
Ivy, you are correct. But I thought for sure, wasn't there a version of it that was Brutus? Or am I just having a Mandela effect?
I think it was always Bluto, but I could be wrong.
Pluto.
No, it was Bluto. I remember that now that Ivy mentions that. And it's definitely, of course, is as the grammarian has written it out correctly.
Well, it could also be a Mandela effect thing. I mean, you may actually be from a different time stream that merged with ours. That's how the Mandela effect happens, don't you know? Yeah, it's when multiple time streams merge together, there's a version of you in each time stream. So when they get merged, it's kind of random about, the memories of which stream you're going to have. I go into it more in my second novel, which I never want anyone to read, but that's basically the theory.
So we're both right. Thank you, Doorknob.
Brutus. 6062. Oh, look at that. So it was Brutus.
Oh, okay.
I did always wonder what Popeye saw in Olive Oil and what she saw in him.
Yeah.
This weightlifter that didn't know how to balance his lifting.
I gotta run, get a few more things accomplished here.
Okay.
Move to God only knows where.
That is
Yeah.
the Gulf of Maine behind you, correct?
That is, in fact, the Gulf of Maine behind me. Indeed. And I spent some quality time on the Gulf of Maine this summer, and especially last weekend, running an Etchells sailboat race, a regatta.
I didn't realize
People
how
from
many
as far
islands
away
there
as
were.
Florida bringing their little Etchells up here to ago, racing around and trying to avoid the kelp in the Gulf of Maine.
Yeah. I didn't realize how many islands there were off of Maine until you put that up.
Well, this is but one little piece of it. This is let's see. I can't really point out on the thing, but the big island in there is Chebeague Island, and then there's Long Island, and then there's Basket Island and Clabber Island. In Casco Bay, we have what are called the Calendar Islands. Why? Because there are 365 of them.
Oh, and that proves there's a God.
That is why God I think Slarty Barkfrost not only designed fjords, but I think he also Casco Bay. It's
As
very
opposed,
pretty. It's very neat.
It's a really interesting geography, with the um, layered appearance of it and how it must have been formed.
yeah.
Yeah, it's mostly estuarine. It's mostly submerged river.
Estuarine?
Estuarine habitats, and it's very very cool.
Yeah, it makes me think that, like 10,000 years ago, sea levels were lower.
Mm-hmm.
So that, at that point, a lot of those islands were probably still connected to the point that you could walk across to them.
Yeah, they were indeed, and as a matter of fact, you can see how they're all oriented northeast to southwest.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way the glaciers moved.
Yep.
Oh, okay. That's similar to what I was thinking.
That's I was kind of figuring that was glacier erosion that caused a lot of that.
I figured it was like everybody in Bangor, Maine's toilets empty in the same direction.
No. Everybody in Bangor's toilets eventually wound up, after being treated, into the Penobscot River, which is tidal up to Bangor.
There's a lot of Penobscot going on up there.
And the Androscoggin, no, I'm sorry, the Kennebec River is tidal all the way up to Augusta, the state capital.
And what
Really
famous
quite remarkable.
and what famous TV character whose last name was Penobscot? Okay, I'm not sure if it was their last name or their partner. Now that I think about it. Anyways, it was Hot Lips. Oh yeah, Houlihan. Her hubby was Penobscot. Yeah,
Hot
that's
Lips
it.
Houlihan.
Yeah.
Yep. I was getting it just as you said it. It took me a moment to process. I knew it was a military thing that was referred to as Lieutenant Penobscot. It just took me a minute to figure out which show it was from.
Yeah, it wasn't. I know that the guy who wrote MASH, the book, that became the movie, I think is from Maine. Like, I think Hawkeye was, the character Hawkeye Pierce was the guy who wrote the thing.
He was an East Coaster. What was he from? Connecticut?
No, I think he was from Maine.
Well, one of those little news states up there.
Yep.
See, there's more to Maine literature than simply
Hemingway.
Yeah.
No, Hemingway was he died in Ketchum, Idaho. He was from Missouri, I think.
Stephen King is in Iowa, or I mean Maine.
Stephen King's in Maine, quite definitely in Maine. Bangor specifically.
Nobody who matters. It's in Iowa.
I thought Hemingway, had a cabin on one of the islands off of Maine.
I don't think so.
Okay. I'm probably getting it confused with something else there.
He picked a bucket in Ketchum, Idaho. I know that. He had a hunting camp in Idaho. But I think he was originally from Missouri. He worked for the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. But anyway, yeah. Henry Wordsworth Longfellow was a Maine.
Oh, I thought Longfellow was like a 17th or 18th century porn star.
I mean, that was his side. That was his side gig.
Oh, you mean like the dean of the local university here, University of Wisconsin La Crosse, is like going through a bunch of hearings because he and his wife have a OnlyFans page, and apparently it's rather popular for skin flex type stuff.
I don't see what I think that's how's that disqualifying having an OnlyFans page?
I don't know, but he's arguing that there's no reason he should be let go as dean, just because he's a porn star.
I'm down with that. I don't see the problem.
You're not in La Crosse, Wisconsin.
Oh, no, I'm not.
Actually, La Crosse is a fairly progressive place. I haven't heard anybody saying, "Oh, they got to get rid of that guy." He's not very attractive. I don't know why he would be sought after. Same with his wife; they do it all together.
I think that's.
And they're in their 50s or early 60s, so it's a whole different set of kinks.
Fine, I gotta run and get some stuff done. But
Okay.
coming up on the transpositions, our special guest this week is Luxander. Luxander, find Luxander on the YouTubes. Luxander is often a host on the Transatlantic Column.
What are Alexander's pronouns? Do you recall?
It's. It also goes by they them, but it's is what it lists as preferred.
Okay.
So
Interesting. You don't usually hear that.
Not very often, but I have heard a couple of non-binaries use it.
And it's their choice, and I'm not using it as a choice now, but for me, I could never. I think that's I would even have trouble calling somebody that. It seems degrading.
I do have trouble using. Yeah, I do have trouble using it for other people. Even it does sound dehumanizing.
I'll tell you why it took me a while. It's because in the early days, it was used towards me as an insult.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that a lot of trans people have had that experience.
Which is why I use it for God.
Yeah.
No, God should definitely be they, them.
So far, the topic is, we're batting around topics, but, talking about all the right-wing propositions. I don't know, Harris's outreach to the bulwark crowd and that sort of thing is a little bit.
God should definitely be they, them, because in the Jewish scriptures, it was definitely plural. It really wasn't.
As Ember points out, that's why Lux uses it. It's kind of a reclaim thing.
I always wondered why you got a singular monotheistic God would have engender at all, or sex for that matter.
Ding, 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 ding. They are a spirit, aren't they?
Well, in the Torah, Yahweh had a wife, which is interesting because the way it's spelled in Hebrew, Yahweh is actually a feminine form. So that
really, is that so?
Well, yeah. So that actually not only made God female, but it made God a lesbian.
Oh, how lovely! One thing we face a lot in the TikTok arguments on
bye Steph.
Bye, Steph. Whether or not trans people should be executed, something like that. Is they love to bring up God, all this God stuff. God, the Bible doesn't even mention trans people, but we still think that God demands we be, not here anymore. And I always respond with, God is inerrant. God is all knowing. God made us all in its own image, and so therefore God is trans, gay, and intersexed.
Yep. Well, yeah, and just the fascist pitch is basically boils down to, I don't want to kill gay people, but I think the government should do it.
Yeah. Sad but true.
Because that way they can claim their hands are clean.
And I know what God thinks. God thinks you're an idiot. God prefers a heretic.
I actually saw a bumper sticker once that said, Jesus loves you, everyone else thinks you're an asshole.
I like it.
Ashira was Yahweh's companion. Yeah.
I've also found that if you use various curse words in German, that the bots don't catch it.
If you say I love you in German, it sounds like you're cursing.
And that little bit I did was was God Thinks, the song, and it's by Voltaire.
Yep.
I can't really sing right now.
Well, I guess God is kind of a quad omni then. That God is like everything at once.
In fact, that's the end of the song. God thinks puppies need to die. God thinks babies need to drown because God is neither good nor bad. God is you and me. God is everything.
Yep.
Now that's not a fan song, is it?
No, this guy it's called, the guy is called Voltaire. He does some really nice music.
Yeah, I've heard a bit of it.
You should hear his other song, Bisexual.
By what?
Bisexual.
Bitextual?
Trek.
As in text?
Like Trek, like in Star Trek.
Oh, Trek. Okay. So what is that? They like both the original series and Next Generation, or what?
It's basically like a song on the whole nerd fight between Star Wars and Star Trek.
Yep.
Oh! I thought it was like a fan film where everybody's on the Enterprise change gender.
Yeah, a couple of those my favorites of his is When You're Evil and Goodnight Demon Slayer. Goodnight Demon Slayer always gets to me a little bit.
Yeah, When You're Evil is one of the ones I've heard.
Yes, Rouse.
Yeah, because with the Goodnight Demon Slayer, one of the lyrics, some of the lyrics here is, "I won't tell you there's nothing neath your bed. I won't tell you, that it's all in your head. The world of ours is not as it seems. The monsters are real and they're not in your dreams. Learn what you can from the people, from the beasts you defeat. You'll need them, and for some of the people you'll meet." That line always gets to me.
Yep. I didn't remember all the lyrics, but I know I remembered bits of it.
Yeah, that one was from Goodnight Demon Slayer. It's like a lullaby, and it's sung like basically he's like, singing it to his kid who's having nightmares, and there's a monster on your bed and in the closet and all that. He's like, no, you're the scariest thing. So it's a very empowering song, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
I've always been more scared of other people than I have been of any kind of monsters. It's kind of hard to worry about the monsters under my bed when I had to be more worried about my brothers.
Oh, sounds like my friend's here.
Oh, okay, that's what that was. Was that your birdie screaming out, or your friend?
That was Molly. He's saying hi to my friend coming in.
Really? Okay. It didn't sound like a dog noise. That's why I thought it was the bird.
That was a beagle bark.
Yeah.
Hello.
Don't mind me. Just came to borrow your dog.
So who's your friend? Is he hot?
She.
Oh, even better.
Come here. Got some people who probably want to say hi to you. Yes,
I'm
yes,
not
Molly.
even going to try to pronounce that. Hello.
Ich habe mir die Host gemacht.
Molly really likes her.
Thank you very much for getting Mage to the hospital.
Hold
we
on,
very much
hold on.
appreciate it.
Hey, David, come here. They want to say hi to you. They want to say thank you. Yeah, I see that.
Hello.
Here, take your sunglasses off. Say hi to everybody.
Hello.
Yep. Thank you very much for getting Mage to the hospital. We very much appreciate you taking care of him.
Oh, of course. He's my good friend. Do
Yeah.
anything for him.
How long have you known our dear mage?
We were teenagers when we first met. I was
Oh,
only
really?
16.
Wow.
Okay.
In a lot of ways, mage is still 16.
Yeah, I know. We all are.
I don't mean that. I was just making jest.
Well, Mage is the young one of our crew.
Mm-hmm. Although from the last couple of days, I think he's aging rather quickly.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking care of him. By the way.
Yeah, we have been
you're
worried
welcome.
about him, but it's hard for us to do anything from 1,000 miles away.
Oh, I know.
Well, he's a good dog, and we would be very sad were he to,
Yep.
start
I
working
know.
in Russia or something.
Done.
Yeah. I'm going to pop out for a run.
Okay.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. We'll get Molly out for a run.
Yeah, no, she needs it. Gonna go.
She seems very nice.
Yeah, she's gonna go walk Molly for me.
Yep. It's one of the things I miss about having a dog that, while I've always been very bad about socializing, that when I was walking the dog, a lot of people would come up and ask if they could pet her, so at least that was a conversation starter.
Yeah, I've noticed that, and Molly's a good one about that too because she loves meeting people.
Yeah. Well, Ginger Snap especially loved kids.
See, I don't know if I could approach a dog whose last name is Snap. it's a little intimidating.
I didn't name her, but she was a chow, so she's just big and extremely fluffy.
Well, as long as the dog's name not Dick Snap, so
Yeah.
Ivy, your
Well,
German, your German is much better than mine. And don't you use a Doppel-S?
Well, Ginger Snap, when we got Ginger Snap, I was taking care of infants, so she, grew up with infants and toddlers. And Gabby would literally crawl on top of her and turn her ears inside out and pull on her lips. And Ginger Snap would just occasionally look up at me like, when is she going home? Because Gabby and Bailey, I didn't have full time. I was just their nanny.
I didn't want people touching my dogs, and especially Bosch, my gigantic German Shepherd.
Mm-hmm.
And so when people said, "Oh, can I pet them?" I said, "Well, okay, you may, but I'm taking no responsibility for any missing digits."
Yep.
They usually left her alone then.
That was in one of the Pink Panther movies. Somebody asked.
Yeah.
Yeah, does your dog bite? And he says no. And they reach down and pet the dog, and the dog grabs onto their hand. And the guy says, "I thought you said your dog didn't bite." He said, "That is not my dog."
No, you got to use the accent. It is not my dog.
Yeah, I couldn't do the accent right.
There's only been one dog that I've really been afraid of. It was outside of a pet store. It was some kind of mix of a mastiff and something else. I think maybe a Rottweiler. But it was this little old there's this little old man holding this dog is mastiff size, and this little old man, he's like 90 pounds and is, wet. And this thing, as I'm walking by, starts barking and growling at me and gets up on its hind legs, and the thing's taller than I was.
Yep.
Yeah, there's something intimidating about a dog that could eat you in one bite.
Yeah,
I
that's the only
have
that's the only yeah that's the only time I was a little scared of a dog.
I have a very strict rule about no predatory animals that outweigh me in the home.
I had a good friend who got a mastiff as a puppy, and I interacted with the dog all the time when it was a puppy and stuff like that. But it grew up as an adult and hated me, and I had to stop going over to his place when he had his dog out in the shop. It was kind of sad, but God, that thing was huge. So I've generalized, and most mastiffs scare the fuck out of me.
Yeah, well, they're very big dogs.
But Newfies, oh, they're just the biggest, cutest thing on earth.
Yeah, I tend to like the sled dogs because they're all big and fluffy.
Oh, so are Newfies.
Yep. But yeah, when I was a child, I had a couple of bad incidents with dogs, but in general, I was never afraid of them. I still have a scar just under my left breast of where a German Shepherd bit me when I was like 10 years old.
Well, if you get big enough implants, you can hide that.
Yeah. And when I had a paper route as a kid, I had a boxer jump up on the storm door and shatter the storm door right in my face. Just because I was going up to the door to deliver the paper. Fortunately, the owner was there to see it, so the owner knew it was the dog that broke it and not me.
Newfies are that more traditional dog structure kind of look. The Mastiff looks like a boxer on steroids with a really bad attitude. Newfies are much more like a golden retriever type shape, except they can come in other colors, but they're usually black or a reddish brown. And they're mentally pretty much like a golden retriever. Oh, I love you. I'm a dog.
Well, one of the reasons that those dogs didn't bother me even after their aggressiveness was we had a cat named Butterscotch. And yeah, he went around and he beat up on all the dogs. So there was a time that same boxer, and the guy had two of them. So the two boxers had gotten out, and they were coming down the alley. And Butterscotch just walked out in front of them, and they both hightailed it in the opposite direction. So they had learned from him before.
Oh, I think my head out here. I want to try and start getting ready because I need to get a few things while my friends here.
Okay.
Okay, man. Take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself.
Capital
Make
letters.
sure you get lots of rest.
Underline, boldface type, exclamation point, exclamation point.
And like I said, I'm still doing tomorrow's midnight showing.
Okay. Well, and if you're not feeling up to it, just post something in the MidAmerica group in the evening so we know.
Yeah, I'll let you know if things change.
Yep.
So see you guys later.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye.
You know why cats beat up dogs, don't you? Because dogs are so nice, they let them. And it's just they're just too nice.
Some dogs are, others not so much.
And the cat takes advantage of it, and gets its macho rocks off, and it's just disgusting.
Butterscotch was smart. With the German Shepherd that bit me, that they'd put him out on a yard that, just had a stake in the ground and he was on a chain. So with the stake in the middle of the yard, he had the circle he could go into. And Butterscotch had figured out exactly how far his chain would reach. So he would jump into the circle, take a swipe at the dog, and then roll outside the circle again before the dog could react. And he would just torment that dog doing that.
See, that cat's a prick. It's just.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was. He was a major prick. He chased his own brother out of the house.
Oh.
Yep. His brother would still accompany me every morning when I did my paper route. But he wouldn't come back in the house. So I'm not sure which house that he was living in, but somebody had taken him in. But every morning when I went out, when they delivered my papers and I went out there to load up the cart, he'd be there waiting for me and he'd just walk with me through my paper route. Ember says, I have a scar on my forehead from where a dog dragged my unconscious body home.
Oh, drank too much, huh?
After he chased off a pack of kids that had beat me up. Okay, so the dog was saving you. The dog wasn't the one that knocked you unconscious.
The dog was taking him to Ember to the cave to eat them.
Yeah, was the dog disappointed when you came through that shit? It's not dead. Yeah, the dog I had, Ginger Snap. Also, we got her when she was only like 6 weeks old. She probably shouldn't have been taken from her mother that early. But we had 2 cats in the house, so Ginger Snap, was never around dogs. She was always around the 2 cats. So that's what she learned. And I used to say that, we didn't really have a dog. We had a 60-pound cat that barked at the mailman. It also didn't seem to ever occur to her that she had grown larger than the cats. She still thought she should be able to fit through any place that the cats fit through.
Your family seems to have a lot of genetic anomalies.
Well, yes, but not sure what that has to do with the dog.
Well, the dog's part of the family.
Yeah. Well, that's, I have often said that considering the things that run in my family, it's surprising more things don't run from my family.
That's I like that.
That's why I spent my life raising other people's kids. I didn't feel my genes really needed to be in the next generation.
I absolutely adore these. There's a page on Twitter, and it's a German name, Botenraffenischen or something. I don't know. Ivy, would you happen to know the name of it? It's that website that just has a buttload of animal oriented videos, and there's many that show up of cats and dogs doing really kind human-like things in terms of recognizing danger and saving a little child and things, and just and taking care of their owner, and
Yep.
and as well as animals with no humans involved at all, doing empathetic things for each other. I don't understand how people can honestly say that dogs have no feelings when you see things like that happen.
Oh yeah, and with cats too. My cats worry about me when I'm sick, and Petunia is definitely still grieving about Sloth Girl. She still wants me to take her back upstairs because she thinks she's going to be up there. So she has not, she has not adjusted herself to the idea that she's not going to be around anymore.
I think the cat video that changed my mind about cats is a valuable creature. I did not have a high opinion of cats prior to this, and I admit that bigotry.
I know that you did not in previous years.
Was this cat who was out on it, obviously in an apartment building, who knows how high, but it was clearly not ground level. Maybe 4, 5, 6 stories, something like that. It gives the impression. And this little kid is trying to reach up on the railing, which is concrete with a metal bar on top, trying to reach up and crawl up. And the cat, clearly knows in its mind that this is not a good thing for a little baby to do, and would not let the child grab on to the railing. Just kept batting its hands away, and
I saw that video. Yeah.
walked down the railing and followed the kid as the kid tried to do it in a different location. It was like, holy fuck.
Yeah, the cat was watching out for him. And what Doornum here says, that people that say dogs have no feelings themselves have no feelings. And yeah, I've generally found that to be true, that, the people who think that cats and dogs don't have feelings or that they don't have individual personalities are generally people that yell at and kick the dogs and cats.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, are you surprised that they've never formed a bond with you?
Yeah, and it's more than just, like I said, dogs and cats. There's elephants. Elephants go through extraordinary measures to try to protect their kids and things.
Well, elephants are very intelligent animals too.
Well, not the political kind.
Well, no, I'm talking about the ones that live in Africa.
And that's what upsets me most about the Republican Party, is that they besmirch elephants by using them as their logo.
Yeah,
makes me so mad.
So could we maybe get all of the elephants in Africa to file a class action suit against the Republican Party for using their likeness without permission?
Oh, that's an idea. Or we just bring them over and invite them to the Republican National Convention and send them right in there through all the exits.
Give the elephant a couple of barrels of beer first. Elephants like beer. So send a drunken elephant through the RNC.
Yeah, what a great idea. The other thing that really gives me a kick online with animals is the incredibly exotic animals they find at extreme depths, like 7, 10,000, 12,000, 15,000 feet. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, way down in the ocean. Yeah. These are truly alien life forms. It's, just where does that even fit into the same hierarchy? And speaking of deep sea life forms.
Hey, Porpoise.
Hello.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm tired.
Yeah, I was going to say you look rather worn out.
I went to the UPS store after work. Shipped something that has been needed to be shipped for over a month.
Oh, okay. I thought you had done that, and so I've been kind of worried about it not showing up.
Yeah.
I understand now completely.
Well, check your messages. You'll have the tracking number.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you.
It came out clearly, but
I'm having a problem now that apparently Amazon screwed up and didn't update things properly, because they're telling me a package was delivered to the Amazon locker, but I don't have a code to open the locker, so I think that they just sent it to Slothgirl's phone still.
Jordan, are you picking on me?
And there's Hissina.
I can't help that I talk funny, okay?
We had just been talking about cats and dogs and, how much they actually do care for people.
Well, I consider how I talk society's fault, because they made me take English classes in high school. And something happened, and suddenly I had like 20, 30,000 words in my head, and I got to get them all out before it clogs it.
Athena cares deeply about the contents of the cereal bowl right now. Which she shouldn't drink, but she will anyway.
Jenny, I had always thought that you were just eating a thesaurus.
Well, I did, but I crapped that thing out years ago. I would like to take this moment to highlight the extreme generosity of one of our own, Sinister Porpoise. She's quite the computer person in mathematics, which just makes me fucking crazy. And she has decided to bequeath. There's another word of the day. Bequeath to me a laptop that she no longer has use for because she's bought something more advanced, which she deserves, and I certainly don't because I go on the internet. And I just like to say a public thank you. You're very kind.
Yep. Yeah, that is very excellent, and I'm glad that you're going to wind up getting a good computer. I don't know, if at home you said something about being able to share your neighbor's internet.
Yeah, I'll be trying that. I certainly can't afford it on my own right now.
Yeah.
Although I heard that Social Security retirement people could see a raise of 2.5% next year, and I think that would be enough.
Well, no, because that's only going to be like half the, the raise will only be like half the rate of inflation. So.
Yeah, but if it's an additional number per month, it might make the difference between having Wi-Fi and not having Wi-Fi.
I checked to see if it was working before it got sent out. So if it isn't working when it gets there, it's UPS's fault.
Okay. Oh yeah, they do like the launch boxes, don't they?
Yeah, I've seen some door camera footage of them just, throwing the box 5 or 6 feet up onto the porch.
I saw one of a guy drop a TV, a flat screen TV, over looked like to be like a 7-8 foot fence. Polyvero Trace Laura Min God damn it.
That's probably closer than I could get to the pronunciation. Polyverotetra chloramamine.
Oh, polyverotetra chloramamine refinery.
Okay.
On steroids.
Okay, yeah, so I can kind of break that word down, that it's something of a processing for some kind of plastic that contains chlorine.
I don't know, but that's why I took Latin, as I can take words like that apart.
Yeah,
especially medical stuff.
I still have a problem with some of the dinosaur names.
What they don't tell you when you take Latin and they say, "Oh, well, that'll be good for knowing medical words and stuff." They don't tell you that you also have to take all of those medical courses to learn them to begin with.
Yep.
So I read a few books.
Ivy Chance says it's nonsense. Okay.
Well, that's pretty good nonsense. I'm kind of impressed.
Yeah. Well, my late fiance was an artist, but one of the presents I gave her that she got the most excited about was I actually found her a copy of the original Grey's Anatomy textbook.
Mm-hmm. That's the one I read.
Yeah. And like I said, she really got excited when I got that for her.
The other one, if you're really serious about learning, get yourself a Tabor's Cyclopedic Medical Dictionary, because you're going to need it, and read Grey's Anatomy. It'll take you a year or so to get through it and memorize things. Yeah. And also, if you want to understand the interaction in biochemistry with drugs and pharmacies or pharmacologicals, is Goodman and Gilman, the therapeutic basis of the pharmacological basis of therapeutics. I always screw that name up.
Okay.
It was quite useful.
And
See,
What was I going to say?
you teach yourself this kind of stuff, and actually lock it in your head, and you do it long enough, it sticks, and that's called education. But when you're having an argument with some absolute bald-faced redneck mega trans hater, and you try to explain to them, such as brain anatomy and things like that. What's the paper? Well, the paper is my 50 years of experience and things that I've read and taught myself, asshole. I don't have a paper. I have knowledge. Something you lack severely.
I have never seen anyone on the right ask for a source.
Oh, they do it all the time on TikTok in trans hate.
Yeah, that's the problem I have, is that they ask for a citation and they want me to give them an internet link. And it's like, most of the stuff I learned before the internet was, generally known to the public. That I had to spend a lot of time at the library flipping through books.
Well, at least they probably learned after being asked enough times. It's like, hey, what's your source?
And then when the when everything's reversed and they offer their source, it's usually like Google. Google is a reference tool. It is not a paper.
Sometimes it's Breitbart.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that too. Oh man.
I had one person cite the Free Republic website.
Very, very good, doorknob.
But yeah, usually on Twitter, most of the right wingers don't ask for sources.
Multiple multiple true for. Somebody believes in chloramine. That's what that means.
I thought they were talking about PVC pipes.
That's what I was thinking, was something like that type of plastic.
That's polyvinyl chloride, PVC. I'm sorry, folks. I should not do this.
Wait. Why are you apologizing for giving accurate information?
Because it's like my brain is bleeding crap. Okay.
Yep. It's okay.
I don't have any practical use for all this shit that I've learned all over my life. I didn't apply myself like Porpoise did and actually be able to accomplish anything. And so it makes me mad that I can spew all this crap but not make anything of it.
I'm in the same boat, but I've got a lot of random information, not enough to claim I'm an expert at any one field.
The only thing it helps me do is to write stupid stories like I did this morning on the DM. That I can come. I wrote a story about my days with the Venezuela secret police, which is, by the way, titled the Bolivian secret police. That's how secret they are. That's true, by the way.
Yeah, it was just a stupid math joke to begin with.
Yeah. That somebody wrote the word cabin and forgot the C, or something like that, and it became ABIN, ABIN, which is the initials for the Brazilian secret police.
The integral of 1 over cabin was what someone asked, is log cabin, which is, if you're using cabin as a variable, is true.
Yeah.
But it's just like, nobody's going to get that.
Greg was doing that as a math joke, and it completely flew over me. I looked at it a couple of times and I couldn't figure out where he was going at.
The essence of the story was that myself and the other people in our little operations unit failed at an assassination attempt and had to flee. The big Donnie guy had to flee and get away to and hide in the Amazon forest. Unfortunately, we ended up landing in a harvested palm oil field where we could easily be seen. Three of us were captured, and 2 of us decided to split up and go our separate ways without telling anybody, so we could easily deny knowledge of of the other, and I ended up here back home because I thought hiding in plain sight is a good idea because they just wouldn't expect it, and at least I'll be comfortable until they catch me.
Doorknob Head, if you're not already subscribed to my other channel, Mad Computer Scientist, please go subscribe now. Because people will get that joke there.
Yep. I go by the the SCP theory that that was in one of the Hitchhiker's Guidebooks.
Somebody else's problem.
Yeah, if you paint something pink and put a sign that says somebody else's problem, everyone will ignore it so thoroughly that might as well be invisible.
That's interesting. Porpoise, I'm going to be really sorry that I asked this.
Are you?
Why is cabin part of mathematics?
It's just being used as a variable in that case.
How so?
Because if you take the integral of 1 over x, that's log x.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just say the variable is called a cabin.
Oh.
Yeah.
Log
so
x. That perfect.
That was the punchline of the joke. It was a log cabin, and yeah, I didn't get it either.
However, I do find a lot of people that most people think to be experts don't claim to be experts.
Let's
Ember
see.
says
Quillid, Esther, Esther Corre disputio, Psycho. Oh God, Psychonon. That doesn't make sense. Ultran neuromicroscopic. I think that means dissecting your testicles.
I have no idea what that means, but
yeah, there's too much in there for me to unravel that one.
It seems like a lot of words for malignant narcissism.
Well, she does say that it's Trump's illness, so that could very well be what it means.
Were we? I forget which day it all happened. When did our new history lesson about illegal aliens consuming home pets happen after our last get together here?
No one is consuming home pets, Athena. Oh,
I absolutely cannot believe the gall, the audacity of the Republican Party and J.D. Vance to stand up and say, "Yeah, I made it all up, and I'm going to do it again." It's like, what? You don't understand anything what it means to be in the executive branch.
He said he'll make up shit anytime he needs to attract attention.
That's worked so well for him.
Yep.
Let's think about. Well, he didn't make up the couch story, but.
Okay, but Jenny, Ember said no. Having a wide base of knowledge helps you incorporate new information faster, synthesize ideas from unrelated fields, and most importantly, make you less vulnerable to other people's bull.
Oh, great. Now I got to find another way to feel sorry for myself. Damn it.
Yeah, but actually, many great inventions came from people just applying something that was already common in one field to something completely unrelated.
Well, if I'm able to come up with a TV series or a new board game that employs all those concepts, I'll get rich, and thank you all.
Oh yes, let's develop a board game together.
One of the most important, non-atomic discoveries of the 20th century was made by an AT&T engineer who realized he could simplify the switching process for the plain old telephone service by using Boolean algebra.
Boolean algebra, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which serves and his discovery served as the basis for electronics.
Yep. Without that, we wouldn't have transistors
or computers.
And for those who don't know, define Boolean. Boolean.
Yes, Boolean. It's just a system of algebra named after George Boole, who tried to, along with Augustus and Morgan, formalize logic in a mathematical fashion.
Is that part of the if then else?
Well,
It's basically a form of logic that comes down to only 3 operands that you can use: and, or, and not.
Purple, I just want you to know I'm really pissed at you that you know this crap.
It's kind of the basis of electronics.
Well, no, I know this much because I did have a certificate in computer programming from a technical institute. But that was way back in the 80s, so anything I learned there is really so outdated as to be kind of useless.
Well, I thought you did some electronics projects. But
I tinker with electronics. I don't know much about it. I try to figure it out as I go along.
Bullionator, may he rest in peace, probably did get his name from that.
The best I could do with electronics was to read a diagnostics tree and track it down in the computer or the Macintosh whose power supply is dead, and which components do I have to replace. As long as there's a list, I can do the work. Although once I did one thing that I was really impressed with myself with. When I was in high school, I had a darkroom in my basement, which was just not my place for my women's clothing outfits that I saved and hid from my parents. But anyways, I actually did photography processing in there, and I built a meter that was in Popular Mechanics, I think it was, for using to determine the exposure necessary for an enlargement. And all they gave you was this basic, shape of a box and measurements that you could build, and then a list of parts, which all were available at Radio Shack at the time, and a schematic. And I looked at the schematic, and I figured out, well, let's see, if this component is attached to this, and that wire goes to that one, and then it also goes to that one. I took terminal strips and I just started soldering stuff that was touching together, and goddamn if it didn't work.
Yeah, maybe in a different life I might have been a Navy nuke, but not this one.
That's pretty much my level with the electronics. That if I can find a schematic, I can build it. So mostly what I've been doing is finding simple circuits and then trying to figure out how to resize the components to whatever I've got to do with it.
Amber, a electronics genius I knew explained transistors to me this way, and I really did ask him, this is really your answer. The holes, HOLES, the holes move. I really never got beyond that, but he assured me that that was the best way to describe what a transistor does. And fine, whatever you say.
Basically, transistors are just very tiny switches that determine which leg the current will go out on.
Yes.
All right. So if we're referring to Bullionator, who was in the orbit of a certain shipwreck, yes, that person passed away several years ago.
That was a real shock to the community. A major loss.
Yeah.
Their real first name was David, and they would act as producer for many different YouTube shows and other computer assistants of rather dramatic natures. And when he often just did not charge a thing. Even though it was his only income, and it was just very sad. I
didn't know him real well, but I was on the shills with him a few times.
They had one of the coolest animated avatars on Discord. Let's see, how do I describe that again? It was just one of these things that two things are turning, and they don't collide because everything is just that precise and moves past itself. I can't remember exactly what it was. I'm thinking it was the yin and yang.
I think it was
symbol.
I think it was 2019. It was before COVID.
Yeah. Well, it was before I moved here, so yeah, 2019 sounds right. Okay, I have to step away for a minute. Since Mage isn't here, I'm leaving Porpoise in charge because I know better than to ever leave Jenny in charge.
I'm much too
Right.
mature.
Wait, you think just because I'm a teacher I can handle responsibility?
No.
No, I just know that leaving Jenny in charge would be a mistake, so I'd rather go with an unknown quantity than leave Jenny in charge.
To me, every button has a label on it that says push.
You've got to push the big red button.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Especially if it says do not push.
That is so true.
Okay, well. Yeah, sorry to let you know if you don't already know that Ivy Chan, but that happened a while ago. And there were a lot of... Well, I don't like to remember those days. I'd like to pretend, well, they happened. A lot of people know me because...
Many of my most favorite people on the internet were in the group that Bullionator was a key component of, and it's just amazing. It's amazing to me. The global lesson I get out of all of it is how people who are brilliant attract other people who are brilliant, and that how they amplify each other and develop a cohesive bond unlike any kind of friendship I've seen outside of the intellectual community. It's really impressive. I wish I could keep up.
No, unfortunately... Well, I'm sure everyone knows there was drama with one of the individuals Bullion helped. And
Yeah, I never got the details on it, but there was something going on.
Well, this person... All I can say is pretty much everyone I know has had a problem with this person at some point.
Oh,
And
that answers a lot. I hadn't heard that either.
And a lot of us who are on the other side of it have just said, you know what? He wants our attention. We're just not going to give it to him.
There was one person who wasn't a part of the group, was an adversary of the group, whose name was Russian Vids, as in video.
Yeah.
And they seemed to have some big obsession with some movie guy that was just a joke to everybody else. Oh God, I can't remember who that was, the name again. But this guy was so insistent. This is all flat Earth stuff. The guy was so insistent that the Earth was flat, and such an obstinate little baby and snowflake, that when one person, Red, from Florida, who is a junkie living near Cape Canaveral and has filmed hundreds of rocket launches, offered to bring them down at his expense from California to view a rocket actually launching, as a way to prove to him that space is real.
No, that would have...
And the dildo wouldn't come.
I missed something there. Who were you saying that everybody had a problem with?
Well, Red's rhetoric is someone most people have problems with, as far as I know. But
yeah, but I mean, who were you and Jenny talking about just a minute ago there?
Russian Vids. Sorry, go ahead, Red.
No,
that wasn't the person. That wasn't the person who was trouble with Boolean. Russian Vids is just this lunatic, this macho ass lunatic, who was problematic with the flat Earth debunkers. Yeah. Yes, Red's rhetoric. He is one brilliant motherfucker too.
Yeah.
He's has a very strong personality and is very right or wrong, leave me alone, get the fuck out of here kind of guy. But if you were one of the good guys, he was actually a pretty good person to know. You could learn a lot from him. Mm-hmm. And he's still around. He got to know the guy who runs Astronomy Live which is on YouTube and Twitter and all over the place. Astronomy Live has this big ass telescope in his backyard, and he does all kinds of cool astronomy stuff and live astronomy things, and it's really enjoyable to watch. He was advanced in another level that Red wasn't, but they're both into space. And Astronomy Live is another brilliant computer guy, and he writes his own software for his astronomy work that he does, or play that he does, because it's a hobby. And he wrote this application that will track whatever you plug into it, like the space shuttle or ISS or any given satellites. He followed the James Webb as it moved into position. Okay. And it just automatically tracks with the telescope, and you can get pictures. He's gotten pictures of the ISS where you could see some of the major details of the solar panels, the various sections. He did one of the shuttle actually on it, and people walking around outside, and it's just holy fuck, you know. And
Well,
it's just,
since we are talking about taking pictures of things in space, Porpoise, your keyboard is very loud right now. But since we were talking about taking pictures of things in space, I think we should give a plug to one of our channel supporters, Southern
yes.
Cell.
Oh,
Yeah, who did a project of taking a picture of the moonrise every day for a full year, just to show flat earthers about the difference of the angle. You know, that it wasn't orbiting a flat Earth because the angle changed over the seasons.
following what? I missed that.
The moonrise every night for a year.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen some of Astronomy Live's Python code, and he makes a couple mistakes that, well, one mistake was just I didn't realize that was how that command worked, but he made some mistakes that a first-year computer science high school student would have lost points for if they had made it. Doesn't mean the code doesn't work, it's just, it was bad practice.
He's a very approachable guy. You can always mention it to him.
Oh, I'm sure we've been at it before.
The coolest thing Astronomy Live and Red together did. Astronomy Live taught Red a lot of stuff about optics and things. Red was okay, but rather basic in his knowledge. To the point where Red has invested thousands with new equipment and a telescope of his own and things. Is they set up in two different areas on the Earth, and through the proper trigonometric functions, we're able to establish the exact altitude of the space shuttle and the distance to the moon to prove to flat earthers that this stuff is real, and this is how you know it's real. Of course, they don't believe it, but it was fun to watch them work all that out. And
yeah, if you have two established points, you can always establish the third point of a triangle.
Python really, Python is not that hard to learn compared to other languages, but if you're not familiar with programming, you need to start somewhere.
I've been told that if you want to learn program, that Python's a good one to start with without knowing anything else in the background.
That's would be one of my recommendations, although I'd probably start with a language like Scratch or Snap.
Well, if somebody wanted to start with Python, what would you recommend that they start reading? And does it work on Linux when I get this laptop?
First of all, your laptop's going to have Windows on it.
Well, maybe for a while.
Unless you can install... Well, I didn't want to leave you with Linux because people are going to help you set up software for video, and Windows will be easier for that.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone's going to assume you have Windows.
I just have to defend my ego here. I could probably set this thing up myself without assistance, but that means I would have to learn a whole bunch of shit about new applications and stuff. And I just don't want to do that anymore. I'm just too old, and I just don't have the time. I used to, build Macintosh workstations and Ethernet, localized Ethernet in people's homes and stuff like that. I know it, I understand it. I just don't want to have to learn a whole new operating system
Yep.
and stuff.
I had the same problem that when I built my new computer. I didn't have any problem, with the hardware assembly of just plugging all the components together. But installing the operating system, I had to learn a bunch of new stuff.
And the other reason is, if I gave you Linux, guess who is the only person that's going to be able to help you?
You.
Although I think Brett's Rhetoric uses Linux too, but
Well, unfortunately, yeah, it's Diana would have been one I would have called on for it, but and I will mention that again just because we've got a lot of people who weren't here when we started. But Diana's funeral was today in New York.
well, I mean, after
So
Alright, that would be
she's not.
inappropriate.
So she's definitely not coming back, huh? I thought for
Um,
sure she would figure a way out of that.
Well, if we could reanimate a zombie, could be done. Could be done.
Or upload the personality to the cloud.
Well, let's fire up that anime.
Yeah, unfortunately, none of us were close enough to, remove her brain and put it in a jar in time.
Or whatever they do in the Amazon series upload.
For those who maybe haven't dived into Diana and who she was and what she knew. Diana was a genius, and she just, it seems like everything she took an interest in, she learned way too much about, and kept it all in her head, and she was an impressive woman that way.
And she was very stubborn about not wanting to install Windows on any of her computers, so she ran everything under Unix.
You mean Linux or Unix?
Actually, when I'm thinking about it, I think it was Unix.
Because they aren't.
Yeah.
Even though the command the commands are pretty much exactly the same, because Linux is Unix-like, they are not the same thing, because in order for something to be Unix, it has to be certified as Unix.
Yeah, it wasn't until I was thinking about Diana more that I realized that it was probably Unix rather than Linux.
Which is why Mac OS is Unix, but Linux isn't.
Yeah, I think she actually knew both of them, and it's possible, she had two computers. It's possible she had one loaded on each computer. I don't remember for sure.
Hi, Junie. Long time no see.
Junie. How you doing?
Perp, I don't know if you want to attempt it. Well, Purpose, can you share things on screen?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna send you this in the MidAmerica. In the MidAmerica thing, I uploaded 2 photographs or images right now of a little creature, and I wanted to share those since we got talking about computers and Unix.
Yeah, for some reason I'm having a problem between StreamYard and my browser that it won't let me share my screen.
Show the standalone without the text first.
Okay, yeah, this one doesn't have any text on it.
Yep, that's it. This little, if you could make it larger, that would be good.
I can.
This little guy is a beautiful little character, isn't he? Has
a platypus in a devil suit.
He absolutely has that Disney-esque feel to the
oh yeah,
image in general. Apparently, the guy who drew this first time was a former Disney artist, and so that's why they would be good at that. Anyways, this little creature was part of the development team at Apple Computers when they were coming up with their current operating system. The working title, prototype name was initially Darwin, but that was changed to what was it changed to? I don't know, whatever it currently is, except it wasn't OS X. They had some little fancy name that my brain is blocking right now. Anyways, at the same time, there was these lovely religious zealot people, pastor type things, who were pushing the public relations at Apple is satanic. And Apple, when they were small, if you don't know, had over their corporate headquarters a pirate flag, okay, because they were very anti-establishment that way and things. And some of that mood carried on even to...
But Apple isn't that anti-establishment.
no, not anymore. This is a long time ago.
They never were.
Yeah, they were. In the beginnings, they
Because
absolutely were.
Okay,
Steve-
Jay, are you ready for the image with the text?
Steve Jobs is one of the 2 reasons we have closed source software in the first place. The other one's Bill Gates.
Okay.
Anywho, this little guy was created to shove in the face of the religious zealots. I don't know why they picked a platypus, other than maybe the uniqueness and nature of the actual creature. And the skull and pitchfork were added onto him. There are images of him without it, and his name is Hexley, as you see below there. They only ended up having like 5 different renderings of him in various positions. One's opening a box, and there's bubbles coming out of it, and another one sitting down and just looking cute as a Dickens and stuff. And
We've lost Jenny. Athena wants you to know that it's her chair, everyone.
and lots of different things when I had workstations. But isn't he cute?
Yep. He's an adorable character.
Yes, he is. And why can't I remember the name? God almighty.
Well, I can tell you it's not Tux.
No, it's not. Oh, God, I hate my brain. Why is it? I use the metaphor that my brain is leaking. But that's really what it feels like, is that certain
No, its
parts
name
of
is
my
Hexley.
brain. His name, but the OS X in development had a different name.
That was Darwin.
That started out as Darwin. It came up with something else after.
Yeah, once it became commercial, they changed it to OS 10 something or other.
Yeah, no, there was a different working name as well. And anyways, my brain is leaking out things, and there are words that have just disappeared that some of them I have not been able to retrieve at all, and others that click in a day later or something like that. And they're words that I've known for decades, and all of a sudden they're gone. And it's really disturbing. And I know I've told this story before, but I thought it was resolving when they started taking care of my thyroid, but it wasn't. I just was going through a good period.
Yeah. I notice I'm having a lot more problems with my words since I crossed 60.
Words are overrated.
The devil you say. You're much better at puns than I.
Yeah, but you have a very good writing talent when you come up with those short stories so quick and easy.
Hey, I'm still convinced that you're part of the secret RCMP, and your job is to stop people from smuggling LSD-laced syrup across Lake Superior.
Well, see, I didn't say anything because you're correct. It's true, I am, and you've ruined my career, and now I have to do something else. I've become part of the RCMP secret police, where we can go out and do things like investigate the Trudeau family, realizing that they indeed are part of the reason that see now here's the name again. God damn it! That little town on the edge of Hudson Bay that collects all the polar bears. They've developed a polar bear summoning engine which can broadcast frequencies that only polar bears can hear, to attract them to come in for sadly not just tourism but dinner. And
So the polar bears are having the tourists for dinner?
sometimes. Yes.
Polar bears do eat people.
Yeah. Yeah, Junie. I have never gotten an evolutionist to ever reply to any questions about a platypus. They do seem to have a very hard time explaining why a mammal would lay eggs.
An evolutionist?
I'm sorry, a creationist rather. Yeah. See, I told you I'm having trouble with words. I'm using the opposite. And Doorknob Head says the name you were looking for is Rhapsody. After Apple acquired Next in '96, they began developing a new operating system based on NextStep, which evolved into Rhapsody.
I do not think it is Rhapsody.
No, I don't think so either. Rhapsody was a name of. No, all the product names for consumer access were based on wonders of the world. Mojave Desert and that kind of nature stuff.
Yep. Commodore's first home computer, the VIC-20, was originally named the Vixen, and they had
the +4.
Yeah, they had a character of a cute little fox that was supposed to be the mascot. But when they realized Vixen had a very sexual connotation in German, they decided they should change the name before it went to market.
Yeah. I miss Commodore.
So do I.
If only they understood that the Amiga deserved to be marketed.
Yeah. It really did get the short end of the stick, but they never really promoted it like it deserved.
Because the Amiga was ahead of graphics until like the early 2000s, because of that specialized hardware.
Yep. Okay, bye-bye, Doorknob Head. Go collect your paycheck, do as little work as possible.
Bye, Knob.
It's Knobhead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Brain leakage. It wasn't intentional.
Chaircat. Athena is not Chaircat. Athena is lady of all she surveys from the top of the chair.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to accede to your guys. I'm apparently having a Mandela moment, and Darwin is the only name that I'm coming up with anywhere.
Well, that's because it became Mac OS 10, whatever the first, I think Sierra.
No, it's OS X.
Yeah, OS. It's OS 10 Sierra.
No, it's OS X. Elon Musk is copying Apple because Elon Musk is not original in anything except his lies that he puts on Twitter and his threats against people's lives.
And don't forget his threats against Taylor Swift.
Oh yes, threatening her with involuntary impregnation.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
How scuzzy do you have to be to say that publicly about someone you don't know?
I don't know. It's a whole new level of warped, as far as I'm concerned. I will not. I will not even type his name.
It just goes to show you, that how much he was promoting Trump. That he's trying to use his platform to go after anybody that says they like Harris.
Yeah, like that sergeant in Portage County, Ohio, who has asked all of his deputies and all the citizens of their county to write down the addresses of anybody who shows or speaks of support for Harris and shows any yard signs that he wants a list of all these people. Yeah, now, isn't that just feel like freedom to you?
He's not going to get reelected.
I hope it goes far more than him not getting reelected, because that's definitely voter intimidation. That's a federal offense.
I hadn't thought of it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you don't need to be original with your insults, but Musk is. Problem is, Musk still thinks everyone thinks he's a genius.
Yeah.
Yep.
He was anything but.
It's like, no, people realized you were an idiot quite a while ago.
Well,
I mean, he's pretty good at marketing. I must say that. But a genius, no.
well, yeah, that's the one thing that Musk and Trump have in common, is that they were both very good at marketing their names, even if they never had a quality product.
Are you sure he's good at marketing? Because he tried to name PayPal X, and his co-owner said, it's like, you are a moron.
Well, yeah, he's done some very stupid things, but what am I trying to think of that he's done well? Well, just his ability to sell people on concepts that go absolutely flat. But if you think about the concept, it's like, oh, that'd be neat if that worked. Like the tube thing. His solar shingles, they're out there, they work, but there's something about them that people just don't want to pay for. If you haven't heard, it's a roof shingle that's made out of solar.
My understanding was that they were passable solar collectors, but as far as actual roofing material to keep the water out, they were, yeah.
That makes sense because they're a rigid. Well, of course, Spanish roofs work just great, but they're shaped very, very differently. His stuff was attached like a standard staggered shingle arrangement. Yeah,
Junie said that she had heard he was going to be part of Trump's cabinet. I wouldn't be surprised by that if Trump had offered him a position if he helps him get elected.
Trump did state publicly that he intends to bring Musk into the administration. They didn't say cabinet position, but just administration. And his job would be to it sounds like he's going to be the person who makes a decision of who gets the axe. Because Trump was so impressed with how he chopped up Twitter into nothing and it still works, but it really doesn't still work and all that stuff.
He hired the quality control team, or fired the quality control. Fired his moderation team. Spent most of his time antagonizing journalists who already weren't friendly to him, making stupid business decisions, and he keeps trying to introduce new features he thinks people are going to pay for.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not paying you for an edit button, Musk.
Yeah. What are they getting, like $13 a month?
Yeah, well, I thought it was like $13 a month for the blue check mark.
Which I personally would like to have, not for the check mark, but for the allowance that you get to write, like 4 or 5, 6 times the amount as your limit to how big of a tweet you can make. And yes, I still call it Twitter, and I still call them tweets, and I will not call it X until he stops dead naming and misgendering his trans daughter.
Yep, same here. I will start calling it X when he starts calling her by her proper name.
Mm-hmm. And if it is going to be X, then what was a tweet is no longer a tweet, and it will now be named excrement.
And for those of you who think I might be hypocritical by taking the same stand, because I would not treat people this way, despite what the Supreme Court has ruled in the past, corporations are only fictitious people and do not have feelings unlike real people.
Yep. It is not X. That is an X bird.
That is an X parrot.
Have you heard the latest rumor that I just pray to God, if there is such a thing, to be true? Mark Cuban has been making rumblings about buying Fox Network and Twitter.
Well, I can't see that Musk wants to stay in Twitter at this point because he's not going to make his money back. He's no longer the richest man in the world.
Yeah.
And I think even he realized it was a bad decision but he was kind of forced into it.
I don't
Well,
understand
He
why a
tried to
man.
back out of it just before the sale, but the contract wouldn't let him get out of it.
I don't understand why a person of that wealth had to get investors, the Saudis and two other heavily moneyed political sources, to put the money up to buy that. If he had enough money on his own.
Because that's how you get to be a billionaire. You never
He was a
use your-
billionaire already.
Yeah, but to be a billionaire, you never use your own money. You always use someone else's money.
Well, when the revolution finally comes, and not that I'm hurrying this, I have a feeling Musk is going to be one of the first ones to the guillotine.
Yep. Porpoise, Ivy Chan put another meme in the MidAmerica group on Twitter. Could you pull that for us?
Oh, come on, Porp.
I'm sorry, I do it myself, but like I said, for some reason my browser, when I try to share a screen today, it's saying that my browser can't do it.
And I would do it, but Perp doesn't trust me, and that's perfectly understandable.
Well, it would also be easier if you had a computer, which you're about to get.
Yep.
I was thinking of trying a Bluetooth hookup with my phone to make my phone a hotspot.
Is that accidentally showing anyone's names or? All right, no one's real name. We're good.
Yeah, that's precisely what has happened to Twitter.
Yep.
The right wingers go on with threats and intimidation without any hint of discretion by the administration, and liberal people say the word CIS, and they get banned.
Yep.
Which is a clinical term used in medicine. Yeah, he has it out for trans people.
Yeah, actually, just last night I saw another one of those cyber trucks parked outside the Walgreens here.
God, they're butt ugly.
Yeah, I don't understand the design of them at all, because they are neither attractive nor functional. I mean, I could pardon an ugly truck if it was actually functional, but you can't even fit a bicycle in the back.
Yeah, trucks don't have to look good.
But they do. I mean, a good properly built and used pickup. It's a great vehicle. Just you don't need them in the suburbs.
Why would anybody buy a pickup truck that's too small to carry a bicycle?
Rich people with no brains.
Yeah.
As far as I understand it, his daughter said, "Why don't we make cars look like that after seeing Blade Runner or something?" Because that's what people thought cars would look like in the future in the 80s. It wasn't a good design.
Well, that was my impression of it, is that this was somebody, trying to make a low-budget sci-fi, that said, make us a futuristic vehicle, and here's a $25 gift card for Home Depot. Go do it.
Yeah, it's like 1960s sci-fi.
Yeah.
I don't think Ridley Scott's Blade Runner was low budget.
No, but you gotta admit that those Tesla trucks are definitely low budget.
Although Logan's Run was apparently higher budget than it looks like.
Yep. Now, see, Logan's Run is one movie I think it would be worth them remaking. With the visual effects they can do today to fix it up a bit. I think they should basically stick with the original script and just give it better visuals.
I love how people are making fun of the Cybertruck. Doing side-by-side comparisons with dumpsters and water fountain bubbler type things. There's a picture out there of some guy who has put wood grain siding like a station wagon of the 60s.
A beaver wagon.
It's just in real life. I'm like, okay.
And apparently they seem to have a tendency to burst into flames. So there's a number of pictures of them making forest fires and things.
And like
That
Ivy Chan is saying that they already have a reputation for cutting and crushing fingers.
Is that true?
Yes.
Any
Hmm.
electric car has a higher tendency to catch on fire than gasoline vehicles because of the lithium-ion batteries, especially if they overheat. Not that gasoline cars can't catch on fire; they absolutely can, but it's a
Yeah.
little bit rarer.
Well, it's the same thing as, some cell phones had the habit of bursting into flame in somebody's pocket if they got too hot.
I hear pagers are having that problem, especially if they've been sent to Hezbollah members.
Oh man.
Well,
You
I
had to
was
bring that
hearing
up?
that was some signal that they sent to them that could do that. And I can't figure out how they could do that just by sending a signal.
My guess,
Prior to delivery of Hezbollah, Israel acquired all the pagers in question, disassembled them, and included a mechanism and explosive material enough for them to do whatever damage it can in such a small dose.
and probably
And then it was set to trigger with a specific code broadcast.
I would have just done it whenever they got a page.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking, that in order for them to be doing this, that they would have at some point, had to have, physical possession of them to put something in them to do that.
Oh, I am absolutely certain the Mossad was behind this.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's a horrible thing to have done, but it is brilliant. You gotta give them that. That, like, holy cow, you guys pulled one off. But now they can never do it again.
Yeah, and it's just happening to random people, though. It's something that, wasn't targeted at military people or leaders or anything.
A number of the pagers in question were only going to Hezbollah people, so it was a military intent and object.
Yeah, but I mean, they're happening to just random civilians in the marketplace.
No, Hezbollah people hang out and are just regular citizens when they're not in a military action.
they have.
Okay.
Civilians have been targeted secondhand by this, but
Okay. I guess I did not get the full story from the news report I saw.
but no, it's like someone knew where they were sending these to and who they were sending them to.
Okay.
Netanyahu has achieved the level of a very extreme war criminal. The man, the man needs to be removed.
Yeah.
From office.
Going back to the Cybertruck, I did see one really great use for a Cybertruck.
Oh,
when I went
tell
to
us.
Indie Pride. Someone realized they look ugly as hell, but they attract attention. So they put advertising all over it.
Oh, God.
Yeah, well, they are unique, so they will get people to look at them.
Yeah, unusual vehicles have been used for that for a long time. That's a great idea.
Well, I was like, okay, that was smart.
Mm-hmm.
That's about the only use for a Cybertruck I can think of.
I understand they use a very poor quality stainless steel in the body because they're showing rust already.
That's what I was wondering about. Isn't stainless steel supposed to be rust-proof?
High quality stainless is not permanently rust-proof, but very, very rust resistant for an extended period.
But yeah, from what I understood, that they made them out of stainless steel, and then they didn't even. Not only did they not paint them, they didn't even put a sealer coat over them.
Yeah. That's right.
So it's like, these things were clearly not meant to be driven any place that it might rain.
I'd like to approach one with the magnet and see how much stainless steel it really is. Why does your refrigerator allow you to attach kitchen magnets or refrigerator magnets? Because it's not very good stainless.
That's a damn good idea. I think I'm going to have to put a magnet in my purse, so next time I see one in a parking lot, I can try that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would love to hear the tape it. Do a video.
Weren't also the Cybertrucks getting bricked by software updates?
I hadn't heard, but
Yeah, I
certainly
don't know
plausible.
anything about the software.
Yeah, that's not like automotive engineering design. That's just bad code. But
I hate to boast about it, but my predictions have been coming true about self-driving cars, that they are just completely inadequate to the task and should not be on the highways without a pilot.
They have got, the fact that we can do it at all is impressive. But I'm really getting sick of tech bro CEOs overpromising everything. And
Yeah.
Self-driving cars still worry me too much with the number of incidents they've had of hitting pedestrians and animals.
Mm-hmm. I am impressed with the films and things I've seen of putting self-driving cars on a racetrack where there's no additional dangers other than just driving poorly. But on the streets, it's just, they should be able to get it at some point, but there's way too many variables for them to do it with the technology we have today.
also,
And the programmers.
Stop putting AI assistants in everything. My search does not need an AI assistant Google, especially since your Gemini provides worse results than a Google search does.
Yeah, well, I've been saying that for years about Wi-Fi. It's like, why does an air conditioner or a microwave need Wi-Fi?
So it can chat with your neighbors, or they get lonely.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
no.
literally, Slothgirl's air conditioner, we could not install it without letting it hook up to the Wi-Fi. It would not power up until it had a Wi-Fi signal.
for home automation, it's actually not a terrible idea to let it connect to the Wi-Fi, but it should be able to work without it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know
it would be nice if you could fire up your air conditioner an hour before you get home.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it in offices too, but a lot of this stuff can be taken care of with simple electronics rather than, oh, the coffee maker needs Wi-Fi. Just give it a timer.
Yeah.
Well, but Americans, and I say this because I haven't really seen how other people cope with that. Americans have proven themselves to be quite inadequate and unprepared to program things like a VCR, and that they just don't get
Yep.
it or have enough critical thinking skills and listening skills to make it happen. So
Who knows
in
how to
that
program VCR
sense,
anymore?
I still could. And I'm sure you still could.
I can't program any VCR in this house.
Really?
There's no VCRs in this house.
Oh, well, all right.
Oh, there's got to
you
be
win.
a few of them lurking around in rural areas.
Yeah, but I look in your house right now and I see, well, really nothing except that pennant.
I see a cat, a recliner.
I do actually still have a VCR. I've just never plugged it in since my last move.
There's a PS4 somewhere and the TV is currently broken because I wouldn't know why it's broken, Athena.
Yes, but Junie, did you then take advantage of the self-driving feature as you're falling asleep on the highway to Philadelphia and accepting the fact that you needed to pull over and to sleep for a time? All right, don't answer that.
Now, sometimes it's not even just you're getting sleepy, it's just you're not getting enough mental stimulation on long trips.
Mm-hmm.
I have that trouble on long drives.
Especially and I really have it, especially if like the area is flat, like going from Indy to like into Ohio, it's just really flat. It's boring.
That's what I was going to say, all across Ohio every time I've had to drive out east.
Yeah, I had that problem until I attached electrodes to my labia.
I just started like putting like doing long playlists with songs I like and sing along.
Yep. Yeah, either a playlist of songs or an audiobook, just something that's keeping my brain engaged.
No, not an audiobook. That could put me to sleep. Because there are certain podcasts I could listen to that'll just put me to sleep.
Well, yeah, it kind of depends on which audiobook. Yeah, you got to be selective there.
Damn it, what am I doing here?
Sometimes when I get like that, just pulling off into a rest stop for 20 minutes is good enough.
Louis Rotzman videos about why producers of new electronics do that stuff with internet connections. Okay, I'll have to look up that name.
Well, I mean, sometimes, like, being able to control your light switches from your cell phone is nice. Sometimes I don't want to use it because it introduces more data collection that I don't feel these companies need.
Right.
I'll be right back.
I think that's the main reason that they do it, is that it gives the company the ability to, gather data. And if they can gather a profile on a person, that's something that they can sell to other companies for marketing.
It's like, I don't need a smart light bulb. It's like, start selling the clapper again that worked well enough.
Yeah. That the only thing I even vaguely need a remote for is the TV. And even that is just because when I'm comfortable in the chair, I don't want to get up. I don't really have anything else in my house that I can't just walk up to and press buttons right on its control panel.
Really, there isn't some other reason that might not want you to get up off the chair?
Well, yeah, got 3 of those now.
And we lost Jenny again.
Well, she said she'd be right back, so she might have had a phone call.
Well, I'm going to take a nap briefly before I have to go game tonight, so be excellent to each other. Yeah, I can't speak. Be excellent to each other, everyone, and so long, and thanks for all the fish.
Bye-bye. Thanks for joining us. And I am lousy at monologuing, so we'll take questions from the audience. Oh, Jenny's back.
Not really. I'm just trying to see if there's a artist I have discovered, who was discovered long before me, but that I've discovered on TikTok, and I think the kid is marvelous. I would classify his work as kind of folk, kind of country, but more folk than country, and behavior and lyric wise and sophistication wise, he gives me the feeling of Country Joe McDonald and John Prine wrapped up into one. And so I'm trying to find one of his things that we can throw on, or that people can hear on their own. And he's not very hard to look at either.
Well, just as long as the music isn't going to get us a copyright strike. Fuck.
And I've been talking to myself, haven't I?
You were just there. I had wondered why you went quiet. I thought you were going and listening for something.
Okay, I'm going to go post this link in the chat. I'll be right back.
Okay. So, don't know what's going on with anybody else out there. Yeah. Okay. Well, our topic today was supposed to be cartonnage, about making boxes. So I have to find a more efficient way to do it because I'm having to make custom boxes too often. Oh, hey, Linda. Oh dear. Linda, I hope she's okay. Okay, the smart car pulled her over and parked. Yeah. Now, see that is one valuable thing for them. You know, if they've got some way to quickly detect when the driver is, you know, not in control or not attentive enough. Yep. Oh, actually, right now I am needing to make a series of little wooden boxes that I have Molly's husband doing engravings of Sloth Girl's tattoo for the lids of them. Just that for several of her family members, I want to, you know, assemble little memory boxes for them. Yeah, Ivy, the problem I have is that the large Lego sets don't fit in any standard boxes I can find.
Oh no,
Although
Porpoise disappeared.
yeah, Porpoise had to go take a nap. She was just feeling too worn out.
Oh, poopy. In the chat, I have posted a link to one of the kids' YouTube videos. He's got his whole channel. If there's any way you could play part of that, Perp.
Okay, where is it?
It's in the chat, the link to YouTube.
I will try, but
In the comments, I should say, not in the chat, in the comments. And if we can't do it, you guys out in the chat can have it and check it out on your own. I'm really pushing the kid because I just fell in love with him that much. Very intelligent lyrics. And with Southern, you know.
Okay, well, as I say, one of my big concerns would be that we don't get a copyright strike, but let's try it. Present. I will see if I can. Since it's another YouTube tab, maybe it'll let me do this. It just wasn't letting me, you know, show up pictures from the viewer. Gotta check what was the. Where'd it go? Oh, okay. Threw the tab way over there.
He's got very interesting topical matter. Like I read the one title, "War Isn't Murder." Another one is vape. There's another one that has to do with just getting old and passing on. There's one about education. He just very interesting topics, and he sings very clearly, and you can understand his lyrics perfectly, like he was talking. Yes, he is also on TikTok, but TikTok isn't really compatible with this.
Okay, it just told me I can't share it, but I'm seeing the image, so let's see if I can play it.
That's him, isn't he cute? No sound.
Okay.
I love his hair. He is so 1960s, 70s with his hair.
Okay, I'll have to try setting this again. That maybe I missed the button for the audio. Let's try again. Too many buttons that takes this. Okay, that should share the audio, but yeah, if it doesn't work this time, then I can't. Hmm? Okay, do we have sound this time?
Yep. Shh.
War isn't murder, good men don't die, children don't starve, and all the women survive. War isn't murder, that's what they say, and you're fighting the devil. Murder's okay. War isn't murder, they're called casualties. There ain't a veteran with a good night's sleep. Let's talk about dead people. I mean a dead people. The dead don't feel honored, they don't feel that brave, they don't feel avenged, they're lucky if they got graves. Call your dead mother, ask her when she died, it's a deathly silence on the other line. The dead don't talk, but their children don't forget, so in 20 short years you can live to regret that. War isn't murder, there's money at stake. Yeah, even Kushner agrees it's good at real estate. War isn't murder, ask Netanyahu. He's got a psalm for that, he's got a bomb for you. War isn't murder, it's an old desert faith. It's a nation state sanctioned righteous hate. Let's talk about dead people. I mean a dead people. War isn't murder, it's the vengeance of God. If you can't see the bodies, they don't blow when they rot. And the flies don't storm, and the children don't cry. If war isn't murder, good men don't die. So in a short 20 years, when you vacation the strip, try not to think about the dead, and have a nice trip. War isn't murder, let's all give thanks. I saw it all in a movie, give it up for Tom Hanks. War isn't murder, they don't ship out the poor, and the bullets they fire ain't part of the cure. War isn't murder, land is a right, but the bank's called dibs, it's something you can't fight. Let's talk about dead people. I mean a dead people. The dead don't feel honored, they don't feel that brave, they don't feel avenged, they're lucky if they got graves. Call your dead mother, ask her when she died, it's a deathly silence on the other line. The dead don't talk, but the children don't forget, so in 20 short years you could live to regret that.
That one was, of course, fairly dark, being about death and war and stuff. He's got some that are just absolutely rip-roaring funny. So, anyways, that's my opinion of a new guy who should get lots of positive reception and lots of money.
Yeah, I'll have to check out some of his other songs.
Yeah, again, the name is Wells, Wells.
Yeah. Well, you put the tab there in the side chat, so everybody can just go to that link and get to his YouTube page.
Okay. I think he's on iTunes also.
Yeah, I do like his style. That's, of course.
Yes,
I tend to lean more toward the country and classic guitar for my favorite music.
He is on iTunes.
Yep.
Oh golly, what? Oh, explicit lyrics. Do you know how to F .K? Gee, what's that about?
Yeah, try and catch up with the side chat now. Yeah, Ivy Chan did say he's on TikTok. Okay. Oh dear, we lost Jenny again. Okay, there she's back.
Sorry.
I was just wondering why you keep popping out and in.
Some applications it will work just fine, and you can hear me through it.
Yeah.
And others just shut it down, and and I never know which.
I figured it had something that was either your phone or it was just the way StreamYard works on mobile.
I'm sure somehow it's entirely my fault.
No, one way or the other, it's software. It's just whether it's the software on StreamYard or the software they installed in your phone.
Sometimes I don't push the buttons correctly. You know, I push too hard on them or something.
Well, I still have a problem with touch screens, and I'm often not pushing the button I think I'm pushing.
Yeah,
or at least the phone doesn't think I am. I mean, I absolutely hate trying to text, on the little touchscreen keyboard. It's always giving me the letter that's either, to the right of the one I thought I pushed or the one above it.
How's the chat doing? There's still a bunch of people in there, or has it?
Yeah.
Have we bored people to death?
No, Apostrophe Belinda James just came in recently. Ivy Chan and Junie have still been talking, so
okay.
I'm not sure. Yeah, it says we've got 7 people. But yeah, I was thinking that maybe it's about time to wrap it up for today. Well, if we go another 4 minutes, we'll be at 3 hours. So.
Oh, let's do it. I can babble for 4 minutes.
Yeah. If you've got some little story you can tell us or something, they'll take up the 4 minutes. We'll go 3 hours here.
Well, I don't have anything prepared, but I do.
Yeah, but you're good at making them up off the top of your head.
I do remember back when I was in high school. We had to walk. It was a very interesting walk because it was uphill both directions.
I wonder if that was the same hill my grandpa walked up.
See, it was that way because it was I had to cross a valley to get to school, and so there's down, but yes, there's also up, and up is always at the end of the walk, and so it's really quite exhausting both directions that way. And it was a bunch of rotten roads. I shouldn't say rotten, but they were out in an undeveloped part of Milwaukee County, and so the pavement was gravel or horrible or anything, just not taken care of well because there's almost nobody living there.
Yep.
But across from that yard, we had this recycling company of some sort. I never found what they actually do. They seem to take metal in and bundle it together and send metal out. That's all I could tell. And it smelled really bad when the wind came from the north. It just had this smell. If you've ever smelled like water when it's sitting in a place for a long time on metal, it can take on this very yucky, almost sewerage kind of smell. And so we would have to have it in school. It was no fun at all.
Yeah, well, they were probably just like separating the steel from aluminum and having to burn off any kind of plastic coating or anything that was on it.
I don't know. They didn't do any burning. I didn't see any of that, but it was also noisy. We'd be sitting in Latin class and all we hear is this machine picking up stuff and dropping stuff. And it had railroad cars that came in. And so we'd have to listen to the railroads too. And it was slightly annoying. But then there was a day that I was walking home, and as I passed the bones yard, I started hearing these noises. And, I thought it was just something closely off the sidewalk, and so I just kind of look over, and I didn't see anything, no movement of anything. I really couldn't echolocate the sound very well, so I just kind of started walking in that direction. It was all these tall weeds, they're 2-3 feet tall, and you have no idea what they are, and they're ugly, and they hurt you. And I started.
Were those the spiny ones?
They were spiny and scaly. It was, and they were able to move around quite fast. So anyways, I started going towards the back areas of this place, being attracted by the intensity of the smell and the noise level of the sound. and it was about, oh gosh, I would say I was, I never actually got to the final point, but it seemed like I was about 3/4 of the way in distance to it. And then, much to my surprise,
Yes.
sorry, we hit 3 hours.
Okay, well, I guess that people will have to come back next week for the end of the story then.
Marketing.
Yeah, we're going to leave you on a cliffhanger this week, everyone. So I don't know about you, Ginny, but I don't have anything going on except to be back same time next week.
I got a new extension cord for my vibrator, and I'm looking forward to tonight.
Okay, I assume the other one overheated. I hope you didn't start any furniture on fire.
Yeah, it was too narrow of a gauge wire for that. I guess the more intense you use it, the more heat it generates in the wire, and it just kind of started smoking. So,
well, you're also the only one I know who has a vibrator on 3-phase current.
Well, electricity is great. Or AC is great. You have infinite torque. It's a bus running on electricity. When you hit the gas and all the lights in the city dim, it's that kind of thing.
Okay. We'll see you all next week, people. Bye-bye.
Love you people very much.